Week 4 ads. Most of you know what to do here. If Achane's still available, probably not in your league because we've been talking about him for literally 4 straight weeks. And when I say 4 straight, I mean the preemptive week 1 waiver wire show. I mean the week 1, the week 2, the week 3. We've been talking about Devon Achane for quite some time as one of the best buy lows. These are the week 3 buy lows. We kept him on the board here because we need to address whether they're still buy lows, whether Warren's still a guy you need. All these guys looking very good. I don't think one of these players doesn't look like a fantastic potential player moving forward, whether it's a waiver wire claim in Warren or the bounce back in AJ Brown, which we saw coming, the buy low in Eckler. You avoid drafting him, but now you swoop in and you trade for him. We're doing the waiver wire show right in front of your face. Week 4 style, the fantasy football show begins right now.
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show.
Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks, live after a Monday night and Thursday night game, and of course live right after the Monday night game to do the weekly waiver wire ad show live with all of you. Now, I'm just throwing everything together onto a list right now. If I've missed anybody, call it out and I'll place the person where we need to place him. But right now, we're going to quickly, just briefly, before we head over to this screen right here, which is the waiver wire list for week number 4, we're going to talk about Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow, who had a better game than anybody really expected from a comeback perspective. Hobbled around the whole game. Should have had at least 2 touchdowns, but it is what it is. Like, you can't take away the fact that he had 1 INT, 0 touchdowns, and this team struggled but won. The important takeaway here is Ja'Marr Chase is back. The important takeaway is not only Ja'Marr Chase back, but at least we have a good sense that Joe Burrow is back. Joe Burrow is back to a point where we know they were getting off on the wrong foot in the first half, and then in the second half, Chase and Burrow were lockstep, and Chase had a day. Chase came out and exploded in this game. And let me pull up the stats here, and we can go over it. But Ja'Marr Chase had a bounce back performance. Joe Burrow, on the other hand, did not. And so you got a dilemma on your hands to say, okay, Chase is obviously good to go as long as Burrow's out there. But what do you do with Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow if you have, let's say, a Jordan Love? You still start Jordan Love. You don't hesitate to hang on to Chase, buy low on Chase, which I don't think you can do at this point anymore, because people are going to say, well, if he can do this without Joe Burrow going absolutely crazy, then I think Ja'Marr Chase is good to go. Now, it would have been nice for Ja'Marr to get a touchdown. I'm going to put the stats on screen right now so we can go over this Bengal game at least. Here are the stats. Let me drag them over on screen. It wasn't letting me transfer the file, so I'm going to have to pull it over this way. Here it is. These are the Bengal stats, the box score for the Bengals. Joseph Burrow, 259, 1 INT, threw the ball 49 times, which was really encouraging. And the fact that we've got this piece of news from, it's either Schefter or Rappaport. Let's see. Adam Schefter, Joe Burrow told, there's a bunch of sources reporting this, that there are no setbacks tonight with his strained calf. We got through it. He said Bengals play the Titans in week 4. So no worse for the wear. Ja'Marr Chase dropping 12 receptions. I think it was 15 or 16 targets along of 43 for 141 yards. He had himself a PPR monster performance. So Joe Burrow's, back to the point where he could support Ja'Marr Chase, but you got to start Jordan Love instead of Joe Burrow moving forward until further notice. We had some other stuff that we were going to discuss on this show that we discussed on the pregame show. Kamara's been activated from the reserve suspended list, so he's good to go, and get ready for a nice little Alvin Kamara reemergence. Jimmy Garoppolo's in concussion protocol. That affects Devontae Adams in a few ways, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Jimmy G looked bad, but he is absolutely feeding Devontae, which is good. But if he gets removed from the equation, then what happens? Do they go with O'Connell? Doesn't sound like that's where they're leaning, although that could change with a few, news reports. Mike Williams torn ACL. We figured this was the case. I went over this on the show earlier, that when you tear your ACL, one of the first things you see, especially if there's a buckle, is the player go to the back of the leg, grab that back of the leg in between the bending part of the knee. And when you hold it there, you almost always have a torn ACL, because that's where the pain, that's where you can kind of get to the pain easiest. And I've torn my ACL that way. And I remember immediately just grabbing the back of my leg, because that's the quickest way to hold where the pain, you're feeling the pain and instead of going through the knee, the patellar tendon. Even though when you look at this knee, the ACL is in the middle of the knee. It's a very big indicator when someone holds that back right there. So that was pretty easy to see that he tore that. It's a shame. Prayers up for Mike Williams. That leads us into some of the waiver wire stuff, so we'll talk about that in a second. But we have Devon Achane is the clear top ad of the week. He should have been added already. Most, deeper leagues will not have him available. But the thing is, we got to go into the player reports and the data and take a look at what is Devon Achane's roster percentage, and he's only rostered in 46% of leagues. He was only started in 4% of leagues. So I don't want to hear a whole bunch of, he's not available in my league. We know that's probably the case for people that have large leagues with big benches, but there are a ton of people that had to walk into week number 3 having Charbonnet or Achane, and they had Kenneth Walker, and not being astute, the other individuals in the league being astute to the Achane developments, then he would have remained on waivers, because the owner in question here was holding maybe Charbonnet, maybe holding Roshan Johnson because they had Khalil Herbert. Whatever the case may be, he's available in over 50% of leagues. So you do a full load drop on Devon Achane, and you can come in and say, oh, this is a committee, it's going to be absolutely crazy. And this is why we had Achane on every single list, not 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4. All 4 out of 4 of the waiver wire shows that we've had. The preemptive week 1 waiver wire show, the week 2 waiver wire show coming out of week 1, and then the week 3, and then the pre week 1 waiver wire show. We had 4 waiver wire shows, maybe even 5, a couple in the off season, and then obviously the one after week 1, the one after week 2, and the one after now week 3. So we've been talking about Achane for a while. I know a lot of you have picked him up. A lot of you scooped him up. And based on this 4% start percentage data here, a lot of you probably had him on your bench. It's understandable to have done that. Don't beat yourself up over it when you were faced with a Zay Flowers, who was very attractive to play this week. Kelly, the Chargers running back, was a very solid start to almost every standard. You can't beat yourself up over not having him in your lineup. But the truth is, he's available in over 50% of leagues, and you do a full load drop.
Initiate full load drop.
Full load drop. So drop every dime you have on Devon Achane. I'm talking $100 out of 100. I'm talking about you've been saving your money up for that one player that can win your league. This is probably it. Achane's the guy. And if you don't go after him and someone else grabs him, you're going to be kicking yourself later. And even if it doesn't work out, this is the move. This is the smart play. Go get Achane. And don't listen to the doubters about it. It's the best move to make. There's no other player that's going to be sitting there that's going to have this potential breakout ability. And here's the other thing. If you want solace on some of the he's not going to do anything, he's not going to do anything later, don't worry about it. Let's let somebody else take it. Usually when someone's against him saying, hey, probably won't work out, probably won't be the guy anymore, it's a committee, he'll go back to normal next week. Anybody saying that, especially in the chat right now, no offense to any of you doing it, but it's usually from somebody that didn't get a chance to get him. It's just a natural response to be like, I didn't get him, somebody else got him, he's not going to work out, he's going to be okay, that's just a natural human instinct, and that's human behavior. That's human behavior 101. Just to naturally want to defend the fact that you don't have them, and the best way to do that is to predict them to not do very well moving forward. Achane, maybe he doesn't become the guy we think he will, but here's what should give you solace right now. The fact that we've been talking about this moment. It's not like out of the blue. Oh my God, Achane just went nuts. We've been talking about it. Achane is going to rise. Achane's going to become, we had him on the last week's buy low, the week before that buy low, and on the waiver wire shows. So we're not surprised that he looked amazing. Are we surprised he had 4 touchdowns and 200 plus rushing yards and a whole bunch of other receiving yards? I mean, no one could have predicted the stat line he dropped. It was like a top 8 overall running back stat line in the history of fantasy football. But did we think he was going to eventually break out and become a league winner? Yes, the words we used all week long leading up to week 3 were league winner. Not must add, not go get him, not must hold, league winner. So if anybody's coming in and saying he'll go back to normal, listen to my voice right now. League winner is what we said before that game ended up unfolding that way. So trust your gut on it. Go full load drop.
Initiate full load drop.
And then to discuss the rest of these guys, like you need a quarterback, you need to go after CJ Stroud. They're throwing the ball a ton. And they have 3 really good wide receivers, 2 of which, Nico Collins and Tank Dell, are going bonkers. And Tank Dell has been on every single waiver wire show as well. Not to mention he was our projected number 1, him and Jordan Love, projected number 1 wide receiver, number 1 quarterback was Jordan Love, and projected number 1 running back was Roschon. And I still believe people should be keeping Roschon on the bench for the time that he becomes something very special. But Achane was right up there with him. It was like, who do you pick? Roschon, Achane, Roschon. And obviously Achane was and is the better grab. But everyone needs to understand that Dell and Love no longer available on waivers, have been atop of every single one of the waiver wire shows, even the 2 preemptive ones before week 1 that was like a get in a time machine, let's predict who's going to be on the week 1, coming out of week 1 waiver wire show for week number 2. Dell has been there the whole time. For some reason, Dell is still available in an uncomfortable amount of leagues. I don't understand what it is about everybody not buying into him. He's available in over 50% of leagues. He's only rostered in 48% of sleeper leagues, which includes dynasty leagues. This includes dynasty formats, I believe. Maybe it doesn't. Does it? Does anybody know what the roster percentage includes dynasty? I think it does. And so that means that he's available in way more than 50% of leagues. It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. Mostert for Walker, you have to get Walker. That's a look. I think Mostert's playing great. Mostert will continue to be a must start in fantasy, as is Devon Achane. But you cannot make this trade where you're giving away an injury-prone running back in Mostert for Kenneth Walker, who's clearly a top 5 running back going forward. You have to take advantage of that every step you or every chance you get. As for the players in here, we got 528 of you in here. Please punch that thumb up button. This is going to be the last time you probably see Tank Dell, I imagine, on this waiver wire list. After he exploded and had a freaking monster game. Let me put this up here on screen here and show you guys, because I think this will share this time. I've been having trouble. I had to restart my computer 3 or 4 times, and I didn't restart it from the last time I tried this. Here's the here, hold on. There we go. Here's the Tank Dell card here from Sleeper that shows his stat lines. 10 targets in week number 2, 7 targets in week number 3, 7 and 5 receptions in weeks number 2 and 3, 72 yards and a touchdown in week 2, 145 in week number 3. There's no plausible or rational reason that this guy would be available in the next week's waiver wire, like he'd be rostered in, let's say, 85% of leagues. Really, I don't put many people on here. Sometimes I do, just depends on how I feel about the player getting cut, like at the last second, and is the data accurate. Usually you have to be available in at least 30% of leagues to make my waiver wire list, because I don't want to create a waiver wire show that doesn't help a big chunk of people. But the fact that he's available in over 50% of the leagues is incredible, given he had a 72-yard, 10-target, 1 touchdown performance in week number 2 and broke out. Now he's sitting at a 145 and 5 receptions and 1 TD line coming out of coming out of freaking week number 3. So Tank Dell to the moon. Nico's still a great grab. He didn't have quite as big a day, obviously, but Nico's still a good grab. Tutu Atwell looked great again tonight. Cup is coming back soon, so prepare for that, but Tutu Atwell's a great ad. And talking about the news that we discussed earlier with the injury to Mike Williams, where did that Mike Williams news go? It was right here. Mike Williams torn ACL confirmed. Now that we have this piece of news to confirm and say Mike Williams is out for the year, we got to swing back over here and say, where's Quentin Johnston? Where is Joshua Palmer? I think you could easily put these guys like neck and neck if you wanted to move these guys around a little bit. Sky Moore's intriguing, but he's by no means going to be fully consistent and to the point where, like, you're starting him each week, because you could start Sky Moore 1 week. Just 1 week he could go out and do nothing, and then you bench him the next week. Whereas, could Quentin Johnston become a staple in your wide receiver 3-4 determinations? Yeah, absolutely. Could Atwell for now. And could Nico and Dell? 100%. Dell could be argued as a low-end wide receiver 2 right now. He could be argued as a locked-in some way, shape or form wide receiver 2, maybe high-end wide receiver 3 material in some cases, but he's definitely like a lock to start each week. If you can't find a way to start Dell in your wide receiver 3 role, or your flex, if you do double flexes, you've got a team that needs to make a trade. Palmer's interesting. I kind of lean toward Johnson because he's their investment. He's their bigger target. He needs to learn how to catch the football with his hands instead of his body. He needs to learn how to play bigger. He's one of the bigger wide receiver targets in his draft class, his 2023 rookie wide receiver draft class, but he doesn't play big. He needs to learn to play big. He's in the NFL, getting NFL coaching, eating NFL food, doing NFL workouts with NFL trainers. I do believe there's a way to get that out of him. He's got a lot of raw talent. So hopefully Johnson becomes relevant moving forward. But if I had to tell you there's a potential league winner on this list, it would probably be Tank Dell on the wide receiver front. And if we go ahead and put, we'll take this old Kyron graphic here, we'll turn this into Tank Dell. So Dell, and we'll head on over to the win a league meter here. And we say to ourselves, what is the likelihood, the odds of Tank Dell becoming the best pickup of the year? And that's the way I do this, because I can't possibly know what percentage of fab to drop on a player. Nobody can know that but you, because I have leagues where I drop 100 out of 100 every time. You have to, or you don't get a player. I have other leagues where you're made fun of if you drop more than 20%, and you look like a fool because no one bids more than 20%. Even Achane this week would go for 35% in one of my leagues. He's not available, but that's how conservative everybody is. So it just depends on you. The only thing I can offer you is a confidence level of the player being the best pickup of the year. And I think Tank Dell's got an 8 out of 10 potential. And I think that you got to take Tank Dell and run with it. You can't second guess this. If you need a wide receiver, this is the guy. This is the guy. You'll never see a better probably wide receiver on waivers moving forward. So it's time to drop the full load drop. And if we're talking about Devon Achane, let's go back here. And we say, what are the odds of him being the best pickup of the year? I probably would say this is the one rare time that we're going to use a 10. And we're going to say 10 out of 10, Achane of being the best pickup of the year. And I think anybody that thinks that's ridiculous, anybody that thinks that's an overreach or an overreaction, is a person that did not get him. Because if you can't at least admit that he has the potential to be the best pickup of the year, if you can't admit that there's that possibility to the point where you're saying something negative about somebody dropping a full load drop,
initiate full load drop.
Full load drop on this Devon Achane, you are literally speaking from a point of view of you didn't get him. It can't be, or you missed the boat on it, and that feels bad. Devon Achane has the ability to be the best pickup of the entire 2023 season, and my confidence level for him is a freaking 10. It's a 10. It's a 10. Everybody needs to get on board. It's a 10. I mean, you don't have to get on board, but I'm saying you get on board with the fact that it's at least, you could at least acknowledge the possibility. Stroud, I don't know if Stroud would be anything more than like a 5 or 6, because it's not like you're winning a league, but he's a great replacement. Jaylen Warren, look, we didn't have the week, if you remember back on this list right here, these are the best pickups walking into week number 3. And all of these have held true pretty well. Warren's still a waiver wire guy. Warren, I believe, if I look at the availability for Jaylen Warren, it's something crazy. Warren is available in over, actually he's rostered in 62% of leagues, 60 to 62. So about 40% availability, 38 to 40% availability. I thought it was going to be worse than Achane. How is he rostered more than Achane? That's crazy to me. But he's still available in a significant amount of leagues, and he might even get cut in the first wave of claims in week number 4. So keep an eye on that too. If you're in need of a running back, keep an eye on him getting cut, because he didn't have, as big a game as maybe somebody wanted. He was definitely utilized. He had 29 yards on the ground and 23 yards receiving, but those numbers might not make anybody, and plus the offense is so vanilla and frustrating. I think a lot of maybe Jaylen Warren owners are like, I'm done with this. I can't waste a roster spot. I'm missing out on Tank Dell. I missed out on Achane because I'm holding this guy. And so they might be tempted to drop him, but he's got a lot of upside moving forward because Najee Harris does not look good. And so going back to the waiver wire list, I'd say Warren is a fantastic grab. We got 668 people in here. Punch that thumb up for your boy Smitty. I appreciate you guys being here. I would say Warren, I don't think Warren justifies any sort of like 8 or 9 or 10 out of 10 on the confidence scale. I probably won't even hit the meter for him, but I'd say like he's definitely got that 5, 6, maybe 7 potential. I think Roschon still has the ability, to be quite honest with you. Roschon has the ability. Let me change this Tank or this Achane to a Roschon graphic, and we'll put him on the meter here. Roschon Johnson still feels like, I still think he's got a 7, close to an 8 of being the best pickup of the year type of potential rating. And I know that seems bleak right now, but you have to remember that when you're looking at something like someone like Achane, for example, Achane walking into week number 2 probably looked like a 5 to people. Okay, probably looked like a 5 to people. Look how different he looks a week later. So I want everybody to keep in mind that like Roschon might be a 7, or he could be an 8. He could be an 8. Where's my 8? He might be a 7 right now, but he could be an 8. There you go. That's how much potential he has. The problem is his offense looks like crap right now. But eventually, if they fix things or start moving things in a positive direction, it could be on the back of changing things over, running the football, getting Roschon involved. And he could be one of those guys that gets leaned on heavily. And if the team's down and throwing the football a lot in the third and fourth quarter, which we fully expect at this point because Fields is pretty much looking like garbage, and I don't know when or if, probably won't change at this point because now it's in his head, I would say Roschon is going to get the ball thrown to him a lot in the third and fourth quarter because he seems to be the player the team trusts on the field in a 2-minute drill when they're throwing the football. So Roschon's fantastic. Charbonnet probably was dropped in an overwhelming amount of leagues last week, and I don't know if that data is actually updated. I imagine it is, but if I pull up Charbonnet, I want to say he's going to be available in like at least 40% of leagues. It looks like, yeah, he's rostered in about 55 to 60% of leagues. You're talking about a 40% ability a chance to go get this guy off waivers. And he looked very good when they used him. No one's suggesting he's taking Kenneth Walker's job. Kenneth Walker to the freaking moon. Kenneth Walker's a top 5 running back. And if anybody drops Charbonnet that owns Kenneth Walker to make some kind of creative move at wide receiver, you better race back to the waiver wire, and you, my friend, might have to full load drop on Charbonnet in order to make sure you secured this up, because Charbonnet would thrive in a very similar fashion to what Walker's doing if he's called upon. He's not unseating Christian Walker. He's not unseating Walker, but it's like Kenneth Walker's locked in, but Charbonnet looked so good when they used him. He's powerful. He's strong. He can catch the football. They trust him. He's going to be more and more involved, so he almost has that Jaylen Warren, Achane walking into week number 3 feel, to where you're like, okay, if I put him out there, he could have 2 touchdowns or nothing, but I'm running the risk. But how desperate am I at running back? He's a must-add. McKinnon scored 2 touchdowns. He's a must-add, and there's a reason he's always on this list and a guy I've loved all offseason long, even gracing the Moon Men, him and Pacheco together. And him and Pacheco had a good week number 3. But the reason that he's been here is he scored, I believe, what was it, 9 touchdowns last year, receiving the football alone. Just receptions. 9. What was it? Let's pull up his. McKinnon was on fire last year, and he finished the year so strong. McKinnon last year, if we look at his game log and history, 2022 receiving, it was 9 touchdowns. 9 touchdowns. Let's pull this up real quickly and just relish in this for a second. You can see right here. Let me put an indicator on here. This is his 9 touchdowns. Hold on. There we go. 9 touchdowns in 2023 receiving. Okay, 512 receiving yards. We scroll over to his rushing. He only had 291 rushing yards, but he did have a score. He had 10 total touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns this week. And I know a lot of people might want to say, "Oh, well, that's inconsistent." Well, right. That's why you're probably not going to start him. You're picking him up to maybe hold him, or it depends on your situation. Maybe you have a really bad running back situation right now. He could go in and start for you. He could go in and start for you in a very bleak situation and get you potentially a touchdown or 2. Any week you throw him out there, you have a high risk of him doing badly, but he's a fantastic ad. Zeke Elliott, look, you can hate him, you can love him, you can say he's washed, but he had an uncomfortable workload in week number 3. And I think anybody expecting Elliott to just maybe vanish into the night, I don't know, because we didn't see Stevenson get the workload he was supposed to get in this game. So we have to really be concerned about Zeke Elliott dropping a freaking 80-yard, 5 yards per carry, 16 rushing attempt game in week 3 against the Jets. And we know that the Dallas Cowboys can give up yardage on the ground, so we're not worried about starting either Stevenson or Zeke in week number 4 because of the Dallas matchup. But you got to ask yourself, why is this guy getting 16 carries and he was effective? 5 yards per carry. That's bad news for Stevenson. Stevenson had that whiff of disappointment walking into the season, and people were drafting him in the 3rd round. I don't mind trading low for him right now. Stevenson's one of those mixed bag players where he's a good buy low if someone's freaking out, because you're buying him with the risk packaged in. But if you own him, you're petrified that if you don't get rid of him now, like Najee Harris, you're going to be left holding the bag, and that bag's going to have nothing in it. So you got to go, if you're a Stevenson owner, you have to go grab Zeke Elliott at almost, it doesn't matter the cost, because you could be in some serious trouble walking into the remaining part of the season if Stevenson gets benched. Gainwell was used quite a bit, not ultra effective at times. But we haven't even talked about our boy Swift, who had such a day tonight. DeAndre Swift. We're going to talk about him more tomorrow as well. But DeAndre Swift went out and exploded in this game. Our Moon Man extraordinaire going out and having, after his 28 rushing attempt, 175-yard, 1 touchdown performance in week number 2, he comes out and rips off more yards per carry than last week, carrying the football 16 times for 130 yards. 130 yards, catching 1 football. They should have thrown it to him more, but they didn't. This guy ran 130 yards in week 3, ran for 175 in week 2. He's a top 10 running back. He's a top 10 running back. You can make fun of him all you want. You can call him injury prone. You can try and make up any fable or story you can to try and tear him down and say how it's going to fall apart for him. But this man is a top 10 running back. Name me 9 other running backs you want more than DeAndre Swift. I'll wait if you want. Should we wait? Who's going to come in here and say Swift is not a top 10 running back right now in a running back climate that's in shambles? Absolute shambles, where Derrick Henry's possibly not a top 10 running back anymore. Stevenson's not a top 10 running back anymore. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. I don't know. I'd rather have Swift over both those guys. And if anybody thinks differently, I don't know what to tell you, because he's an absolute top 10 running back if I've ever seen one. Does anybody disagree? I would love to see someone give me a sound argument as to why, other than, oh, he'll get hurt, or I saw a couple of people say they use Gainwell more than we thought they would. What do you mean? He had 130 yards on 16 totes of the rock. This guy is an absolute gem right now. Swift is a top 10 running back. Could he get hurt? Sure. Could anybody get hurt? Yes. Top 5 in talent, says Sag. Anyway, appreciate you guys all being here for the Waiver Wire show. Let's go on over to the rest of the Waiver Wire guys. Mitchell getting a lot of work. Bigsby touchdowns could be there. They still love ETN, but Bigsby someone to make sure. Just like Roschon and Achane, Bigsby's that quiet sleeping giant. And you can discard Bigsby like a lot of people discarded Achane walking into last week. He hasn't done it yet. I'm an impatient Ian. You know, I'm a petrified Peter, and I'm not going to hold on to Achane. Bigsby's got the same big bang for the buck. You know, Charbonnet, big bang for the buck. These guys are sleeping giants, and if you let them loose now, same thing with Roschon, you're running the risk of being racing to the waiver wire and dropping whatever remaining fab you have on him, unable to do a full load drop because you only have $65 out of $100 and you want someone else scoop him up. Make other plans, drop your kicker if it's not the best kicker in the league, and hold an extra RB for half a week until you make some trades, whatever the case may be. Ferguson, still a great tight end option. Kincaid could get cut. I put him on here because he could get cut in a lot of leagues, and this is more of a reactionary look for him to get released in the first wave of cuts. Musgrave's a great ad. Everett, Taysom Hill, Hurst, Juwan Johnson. Hunt could become relevant. Kendre Miller, I suppose, but Alvin Kamara's back. This is your waiver wire list right here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's topped off by Achane. It's topped off by Tank Dell. It's topped off by Stroud. The phone lines aren't open yet, but Travis is a Mars man, so he gets to break in real quick. Travis, hit me real quick, and then I'll get you back on too when the phone line's open. What can I do for you?
Yeah, don't mean to interrupt, but you were just talking about Swift, so I wanted to just ask you a question related to it. Does this worry you that maybe the Lions don't know how to use a running back like Swift, and that could be bad news for Gibbs?
Yeah, I mean, there's concern for it, right? But at the same time, we got to look at what we've seen the last 2 weeks. He was on the field over 70% of the snaps when Monty went down, and then we made excuses for him. Like, hey, well, they just didn't use him right, but he was out there. But this week, they didn't use him right in the first half. And I remember just saying to myself, I don't know anymore. I don't know what they're going to do with them. I don't know if they know what to do with them. And then they started to use him properly in the second half. He ripped off a 21-yard run. He ended the game with 4.7 yards per carry, Jahmyr Gibbs. Right. And what, 87 yards? I mean, it wasn't what we wanted, but it was one touchdown away, and he was knocking at the door a couple times. There were really bad plays where he got swarmed right away. He had no chance. It wasn't his fault. But had he knocked in a touchdown on that 87 yards and had like 92 and a touch, it would have been a whole different story. So, you know, I think we're concerned. We have to be, if we're going to be real, we have to be concerned to a degree. But I also think there's still a time to buy. I'm still buying this man. Okay? Super chats I'm going to get to in a minute. You guys know I roll through the monologue first. This can't be an all super chat show. So they're answered in order in which they're received. And as soon as I get done with the monologue part, I go right at the super chats. And then the show's a significant portion of super chats. But I have to do the beginning parts of the show. Otherwise, you would have no content. So hang tight real quick. 787 of you in here. Punch that thumb up button. Real quick, Travis.
I'll jump off. I was just going to ask you, so at what level are you buying him low? Like, any example? Are you, like, you're not trading an A-chain for him, right?
No. And that's crazy to say, but hey, it is what it is. You got to recognize what's real right now. But I would say, like, you got Najee Harris, I'd trade him in a millisecond for Gibbs. If you've got, let's say
Ramondre. What about Ramondre?
I'd trade Ramondre for Gibbs in a millisecond, given the fact that Zeke got 15 carries and we have no idea what's going on there. I would I think more so the 2-for-1s. I think like coupling a Dell, if you're really good at wide receiver and you're like, I'm sitting on Dell each week and I don't know who to bench. You got T. Higgins who crapped the bed. Now you can trade T. Higgins in something. And especially across position trades, if you find somebody that needs a wide receiver, then you could typically go get their extra running back or vice versa, or especially these extra quarterbacks you might be hoarding, because we're a big proponent of that on this channel, and I think a lot of you had Jordan Love when you didn't need him, and this is why we have him. And let's say the Gibbs owner luckily needs a quarterback, then you go that route. So there's a lot of ways to do it. There's Hunter Henry, there's Mark Andrews, there's ways to get rid of the tight end spot and go, especially if you had Laporta and Andrews.
What about Puka?
I think Puka and Gibbs are very close in value. I think if you need an RB, it's an understandable move. If you needed a wide receiver and you were trading Gibbs for Puka, that's an understandable move. So very even, Steven. All right, hey, call in Travis.
Thanks, Smitty.
All right, later.
Thanks.
Okay, let's hit these super chats and then we'll get to everything. Appreciate everybody dropping their super chat. Superfish coming in with a $20 wad. Appreciate Superfish. Thank you so much. I'm going to get to yours immediately, as well as Ramos's $20 hauler right here. Appreciate you both dropping those 20 wads on screen, and then I'm going straight down the line. Let's go with Ramos's first, since he was here first. Moves 2-1 QB. Herbert, Purdy, Saquon, Etienne, Kamara, tight end Waller. I'm trading Waller, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans. Those are good wide receivers. Mike Davis is playing pretty well, or Gabe Davis is playing pretty well. You might want to hang with Gabe Davis. Sutton's got some trade value. Sky's got some trade value. Atwell's got some trade value. Probably looking to get rid of Saquon. I like Kamara, Etienne. Waller, like I said, I could get rid of. And who's your backup tight end? I don't know who your backup tight end is, but check the waiver wire and see if you can, pick up a Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill combo and feel comfortable with that combo or something, and go rogue at tight end, or as we call it, commando. Because I don't know that I trust Waller, and maybe you can get Saquon upgraded into a Tony Pollard, who had 120 yards, I believe, but very disappointed owners because they're worried about this Dallas Cowboy offense. So there's potential there. You could go get a Gibbs and a Christian Watson using Saquon. There's a couple different moves you could make, Ramos, that I think would be smooth. Buy low on these guys right here. On Watson, Kamara, Jonathan Taylor. They would be excellent buy lows for you. Great team, though, and don't be too afraid of what you got there and rolling with it another week, because your value should go up as well. Non-PPR, probably need Dell more than Achane as first priority. I don't know that I would say that, though, because the value, I love both of them, but Achane could be potentially so much more valuable in trade with the running back market the way it is. You could also bring Achane in and trade Swift on the high for a wide receiver. But I get your concern. Ridley, Watson, Pickens, I don't think your wide receivers are that in need right now. Christian Watson's going to rebound and come back. Ridley's going to be fine. There's no benching Ridley or anything. I see a lot of, hey, should I bench Ridley this week? You can't bench Ridley. He was literally a top 12 to 15 overall player in almost anybody's logical mind walking into this week. And 1 week later, people are contemplating not even having him in their top 15 anymore, but in their starting lineup. So overreacting Oscars everywhere. Kyron, you got a lot of ability to make trades for sure. But I don't know that your wide receivers, I'm not desperate to go get Dell and put Watson on the bench later. I would rather have Achane if it was me. But put in a claim for both. Drop 3 also to pick up Love. You got to pick up Love too. Oh man, this one's crazy. You've got to get Love. I know it's been hard, Superfish, because this has been a tough sell to drop one of these guys. I don't know who you're going to drop, other than you got to probably roll with, I guess, Dotson, JSN, and Kincaid, because Laporta's playing so strong, and try and pick up Dell, Love, and Achane. But that's a fantastic team you got. Don't fret. Your team is looking very, very solid. Garrett with the $5 hauler. Just lost by 0.8. I'm sorry to hear that. Now I'm 0-3, but I picked up Tank and Achane before Sunday. Just got to be optimistic. That's a fantastic job. Great GMing. Bad luck, but you're gonna do well with those pieces, and you can maybe make some trades. Am I gonna regret trading Dell for Watson? I don't know if you'll regret it. I think they both are gonna ball out. They're both moon men for a reason, so I wouldn't fret. I wouldn't be too upset at yourself. Just understand and trust the process that Watson's going to come in and look great, but Dell looks fantastic. Keep in mind, Dell's a rookie. He could potentially at times be up and down. 800 people in here. Punch that thumb up button for your boy if you could. We only have 179 thumbs up, but 800 people watching, so please do me that favor. It takes a millisecond to do it. Do you trade away CD for Ridley and Kamara? In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I believe in Ridley as much, if not more, than in CD. Well, I believe in CD maybe as much, but I don't believe in Dak in that offense. I know everyone's going to say Law Dog sucks and the Jaguars sold. We're 3 weeks into football. They played well in week 1. They've had 2 bad games, yes. T-Law's had 2 horrible games in a row, but it's still, I believe in the offense enough to say, give me Ridley, and then even if I miss on Ridley entirely, let's say Ridley's out for the season, this coming week on an injury, Kamara can still hold his ground against CD 1-for-1, so why not take that advantage of the 2 players? So, easiest question I've been asked all night, even if it didn't work out for Ridley, which it will. Great call on Achane. Trade, thank you, appreciate you, Dallas. Trade CD plus... trade CD for Debo and Hall. I would take Debo and Hall in a millisecond. That's a fantastic trade. Max says, all hail Laporta. Laporta looks phenomenal, bro. Looks phenomenal. Brofist, Brad coming in strong. Strange season, Smitty and Johnson to the moon. Let's go. It is a very weird first couple weeks of the season, or three weeks of the season. Dark Knight says, traded B. Hall, Judy for Swift, Watson. I like that trade. I do love Swift and Watson side quite a bit. Swift is better than Breece Hall right now, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So great job on that trade. You got the extra piece as well. It's crazy. $5 hauler from Chris in a competitive 14-man PPR league. I have Hurts, Breece, Swift, Addison, Goddard, and London, and Dell, and JT. So you got Taylor Swift on this team. That's awesome. I can't wait to hear you starting Taylor and Swift and Kelsey in the same lineup. Who's got Taylor, Swift, and Kelsey? I've Hurts, Breece, Swift, Tyreek. This is a great team. What do? You're 1-2. You sit back and you trust the process because your team is fire. Your team is straight fire. You can't really sit Breece Hall yet because you got just Swift, right? But once JT comes back, you're going to be looking good. You got Tyreek. Addison's going to be fine. Hurts will be fine. I don't trade anything on this team. Sometimes standing down is the best move, and you absolutely have a team that I would say, like, unless a deal comes that you can't refuse or you come up with a crazy idea. But that's a team I don't necessarily feel like telling anybody to make a move because I'd be telling you to just trade. Robinson for Zach Moss. Brian Robinson. I think Brian Robinson's a bit safer, but they're pretty arguable, and I think 1 week to the next, you could easily say, oh yeah, no, that guy's better. No, this guy's better. You could go back and forth on it, really, so trust your gut. $5 hauler, 12-man PPR, trade Andrews for James Cook. I'd probably rather hold Andrews, but it's very, very close. I think you could trade like Andrews for Gibbs. Maybe you like Cook more than Gibbs, and I can't fault you for that. Maybe you can get like a combination of 2 players like Christian Watson and Breece Hall for Andrews. I just think Andrews, you're selling him a little short, but I understand the need to sell him because you got Laporta, and I too would sell him, 100% sell him, but I feel like maybe you can get a tad more than James Cook because James Cook, if we drafted today, wouldn't go near where Andrews would go, even with Andrews being a kind of an injury worry and all that. 1-3 PPR, trade Mostert plus Addison for Kamara and Dell. I'd rather have Kamara and Dell. And I know Mostert played amazing, and I know that he's an awesome player right now, but I just feel like he's going to get hurt or he's got a big risk of it, and I'd rather, and Achane's there. I know they're going to still use both of them as long as Achane and Mostert are healthy. They'll both play, but Mostert has a big injury history, bro, a big one, and so the odds of him staying healthy are slim. Kamara is also older, so there's some injury risk there as well. Also got offered Jamar Chase for Gibbs and Olave. I would rather have I'd rather have Gibbs and Olave by a hair, only because that's tough though. I mean, Jamar looks so good tonight. Give me Jamar Chase. I know there's a risk to it, but give me Jamar. Also have Bijan and Garrett Wilson and Watson. Go big or go home. You're getting the best player in the deal. Nice job on all that. Going off to a bad start, 0-3. My starters are Fields, Walker, Pacheco, Chase, Olave, Ridley. It didn't all click this week, but you got a lot of good players. Ridley, Olave, and Chase. Walker, you can't do better than that. You do need a better quarterback, obviously, and probably maybe he doesn't even rebound at all, because now he's got a problem with his, inside his head, like he's going to be a head case this year in Fields. But you got to try and figure out a way to get like a T. Law, even though he had such a bad week. You could buy him low, go get Jordan Love. Definitely would have backed this up a little bit better. That's the point of my, go after 3 quarterbacks, not 2 quarterbacks in my waiver or in my off-season videos on quarterbacks, and how important it is to have 2 or 3 backup quarterbacks, or 2 backup quarterbacks, or at least 1 great backup quarterback. And we're talking about somebody that is top 10 potential, because anything can happen. Joe Burrow might have frustrated his owner enough, and the trade pieces you have are Flowers, Dell. I imagine Stafford and Dell to somebody that has like a T-Law and a Love would give up one of those players. The only thing you need to do is try and hit that quarterback upgrade, and that's it. Don't freak out about the team. It's a very good squad, and try not to use any starters. Use the bench talent that you have, and you got a lot of them. So is Achane an automatic start, him or Dell? Dell might be safer, but Achane is an automatic for me. I'm not sitting him after that week. And what a lot of people did or wanted to do or actually did with Swift this week was be so upset that they didn't have him in their lineup. Their objective all week long psychologically is to talk themselves out of starting him again. If you're sitting here going, Devon Achane, do I sit him? Your whole rationale is you're trying to justify why you didn't play him. And that's human nature. It's a human condition to want to have an excuse as to why you didn't, because if you sit him again and he doesn't do well, you at least conquered that once, and you were really right because he didn't do well, the second time. So he wasn't supposed to do well the first time. So now you weren't wrong. That's what you're thinking, and you can't play that. I'm not saying don't find a way to play both of them. Dell and Achane should both be in lineups, but if I'm forced to choose, how do you sit a guy that had one of the best running back seasons in the history of fantasy football? 0 and 3 have Tua, Gibbs, Warren, Kelly, Cook, Cooper, Godwin, London, Moore, Waller. Any recommendations? Need to trade high piece for 2 or waiver, ride it out. Thank you, Cruz. Appreciate you. Have Tua, Gibbs. I probably ride this out. There's not a lot. Trade Waller and something. Waller and maybe Cook, or Waller and London to upgrade somewhere, someplace. I don't know what exactly you could target right now. Off the top of my head, I would say Ridley played very poorly. Maybe a DJ Moore and Waller gets you a Ridley. Maybe a Waller and another player on the bench gets you Ridley. Maybe you could swing for Olave. Maybe you could swing for Devontae Smith, who just had a bad game. As I said before this game kicked off, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown might swap roles this week, and they did. And A.J. Brown went nuts, and now buying low on A.J. Brown is gone for now. But now buying low on Devontae Smith is here. Why? Because people are fickle. And because Devontae Smith didn't do well, now he might not return to form. He might have just had a couple. Yeah, now it's time to buy on Devontae Smith. So go do that, because that's the way people think. And it's an easy way to buy low and sell high off of the backs of 1 bad game and 2 bad games, or 3 bad games, or whatever. Even 3 games in a row. Having Gibbs is no value to anybody right now. Breece Hall is garbage to everybody right now. Go buy low. No one's saying you have to even start Breece Hall. No one's saying Breece Hall will for sure rebound, but now is the time to go try and get him on the cheap in case things work out. Remember in week 1 what he did, and remember that Zach Wilson was under center there, and remember that they're probably going to potentially make some moves. Purdy, 12-man league PPR, QB, Burrow, Purdy, and Bijan, Ford, Breece, and Jonathan Taylor, Algier, Olave, Ridley, Puka, Christian Watson. Really good team. 0-3. You pretty much, in general, I'd say hold with this team. You have to play it by ear next week with Burrow, but I do start him, assuming everything's good to go. Bijan, Ford, Breece. I mean, those are. Look, Ford and Bijan are your guys right now. JT's going to come in and be your number 2. Breece will eventually be your number 3, so hang tight on that. But Bijan and Ford could be your number 1 and number 2 running backs for now. Olave and Ridley are must starts. Puka's a must start. Christian Watson should be back. If he's not, we'll play it by ear. But if he's back, then he's your flex if you're even starting. And that way Breece can sit the bench if you want. Or start Breece and put your cojones out there. And, it's tough to say. Achane, it's all over the place, Tony. I've been hearing that the whole show, but a lot of people still call him Achane. I know everyone's saying he's corrected. I haven't heard him correct anybody, so I'm still saying Achane until I hear it, and I'll go look up the clip, okay? That way I can say Achane if you want me to. Right now it's Achane, Tony. I appreciate you, though. I know it's bothering you so badly, but it probably not going to change until I hear it, because I'm not going to, no offense, but take anybody else's word off of other people saying it until I hear it, you know. PPR, 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Who to trade out of Gibbs, Pollard, A.J. Brown, Olave, Ridley, JT, Dell. Make room for a lineup. Love, QB, Laporta, tight end. I'm holding this team. This team is full of guys I want to acquire or have. So stand down. This team is going to rebound. It's a very good squad. Wait for them to ball out or return to form. I'm not selling high on A.J. Brown or Olave or anybody like that. My Puka, Waller, Gibbs for Kupp and Hawkinson. I would rather have Puka, probably Puka, Waller, Gibbs, but I still flip Waller. Might I change my mind on this one later on? Like you asked me about this in week 8 and I go, oh God, that was what I told you? It's possible, bro. The only thing is we just don't know what Kupp's going to look like. Like he's supposed to return in week 5, but is it just as likely that the report we got was an optimistic report? No one's really they've been given a vague update on. And is it kind of likely that we could hear he's not quite ready yet? Like anything could go south. So give me the Puka, Gibbs, Waller side until we know anything. It just feels like a risky avenue to go down. It's a fun avenue to go down, but I don't know. No worry for Nico Collins, Laporta, top 5 tight end rest of season. No worry for Nico Collins. What, Fitzy? We like Nico. We like Nico a lot. No worry for him. We got him on the waiver wire list right here. He's the 2nd wide receiver, so he's definitely an amazing choice. I don't know what you mean by that, but Nico Collins is definitely good. Laporta, top 5 rest of season. And this tight end climate, absolutely, Fitzy. Absolutely. J-Rob with the super chat. Thoughts on Godwin? I think he's... I don't know if I drop him, but is Dell better? Yes. Would I drop him? I don't know. Subscribe if you're new. I just saw someone subscribe right now. There's a lot of people. There's 838 in here that maybe aren't subscribed yet. And if you subscribe, it helps the channel. You're also going to be alerted when I go live. I go live whenever big news breaks, and I go live every day, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So subscribe so you get those notifications, and I go live whenever news breaks. So you know, if you aren't subscribed, you won't know, and you'll miss out on a great live stream and an ability to interact on the topic at hand. As far as Godwin, look, it's not that he's like lacking talent. It's just there's not enough footballs to go around, and I don't know if that's going to change or him to be ultra consistent. Keep in mind that Mike Evans is such a big target, and it's easy to throw the ball up to him. And if you notice, even though we got DW coming in with a $50 hauler, we got 220s. DW $50 hauler. Let's go, DW, this monster.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Jeez. I would just say the guy, and this story here is Mike Evans is a big target. You throw it up to him. It's harder to do that with Godwin. Godwin requires precision passing, and it's just harder for Baker. Baker's doing well, but he's also lobbing the football up to a big guy that has the catch radius of a SUV. And so Mike Evans is easy to throw to. Godwin obviously isn't, and that's not Godwin's fault. It's Baker's arm, but Baker's playing fairly well. But it's just, it's tough, bro. Best content, Smitty. Team is JCSW, Fields, Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Tank Dell, Flowers, Sky Moore, Bijan, Gibbs, Achane, Roshan, Pacheco, Kincaid. Fields for Love. I'd take Love in a millisecond. And this should have already been done, DW. I know you've been busy with taxes and everything, but this should have already been done, my guy. Absolutely love getting Jordan Love for you. What about Kincaid? Start 3 wide receivers. I like Kincaid still. The breakout, it's coming. That breakout's coming. Laporta looks a little better than him right now, and we love both of them though. This tight end class is great, and they will supply and replenish the tight end pool, which is very bleak right now, and I think they will be on the rise. As far as your wide receivers, you kind of have to go Flowers, Dell, and probably Pickens until Garrett Wilson gets a quarterback. But that being said, you could easily argue Garrett Wilson over Flowers or over Pickens. I think Dell needs to be in the lineup no matter what. But Garrett Wilson almost scored again. If he scored again, the ball hit him. It was a little bit behind him. Obviously, bad throws are why he's not doing well. But it was a little behind him, and Garrett Wilson would have had, and he almost had a touchdown at the end of the game too. Like it hit him, and it was bobbled around. He could have had like a 2-touchdown game. Garrett Wilson scores one time in week 3. He'd then have 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks, and we'd have such a dilemma on our hands. But now everybody's writing him off, and I understand why. And maybe you trade him. Maybe you trade him away with like a Pacheco to get maybe an underrated Ridley. Right now, people are very fickle. Devontae Smith. Also, you could go after potentially you could trade like Garrett Wilson for Ayuk if you wanted to get a little crazy. I love that you have Achane. Fantastic, bro. DW to the freaking moon. DW.
To the moon.
If you have a follow-up DW, please let me know. This one, Professor Stroke, $20 hauler, just was offered Bijan and Gus the bus for JT and Swift. I'd rather have JT and Swift over Bijan at this point, and that's a painful thing to say, but that's reality. That's being honest. That's looking at the situation. That's looking at a top 10 running back in Swift, a potential top 10 running back in JT, and what we believe to be the number 1 running back in the National Football League that isn't getting the volume to our liking yet, and we don't know if or when that will happen. I believe he will start being a 100-yard lock on the ground, but there's still a chance he doesn't get the touchdown volume we thought he'd get, or I don't know. So I'm going to tell you to go ahead and take the 2 players, bro, because at least you have 2 different players to compete for the trade. If Swift went down, you could still win the trade. If JT went down or never came back, you could still, fight. Swift could fight against Bijan to make the trade look even. You have 2 players. You're diluting your risk into 2 different players. And it's a fantastic 1 for 2 players. Or if you have the 2 players already, you stand and hold. I think you might have had them already if I remember the question right. I got Bijan, Walker, Ford, Madison with Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Tank, Flowers, T-Law, and Love at QB. I got 2 trade offers, Madison and Tank for Ayuk or Madison, DJ Moore for Hall. I'd probably take the Hall trade offer and then hold them and just wait because Breece Hall still has top 10 potential when his offense is unlocked a little bit. And we don't know if that's going to be a Carson Wentz signing or a trade or something. Just hang tight on that, but definitely acquire him at that value and hold. Because Madison's not really worth much. DJ Moore and Hall, I take Hall in a heartbeat. So definitely take Hall, and you get Godwin. You can maybe flip Godwin. That other trade, I like Tank better than almost. I like Tank Dell as much as I like Ayuk in some ways. I'd probably take Ayuk straight up for Tank, maybe. And I love Tank. But I'd rather just keep Tank and do the other deal, and that way I don't have to trade Tank Dell away because Tank Dell is only getting better. We're dropping Treylon Burks for Palmer or Johnston. Yes, and I take Johnston if it's me, but trust your gut on that one. It could be either wide receiver. Need to drop 2 to 3 of my bench guys for Kamara coming back and have Achane and Tank Dell on waivers. All right, Ramos, let me go look for your other question here. I appreciate you. Ramos dropping this 20 watt on screen. Let's see here. Drop 2 to 3 players. I'd probably say Elijah Moore, Dylan, and probably Sky Moore, Sutton, Elijah Moore, or I know Sutton had some moments. I get it. Then you could go Sky Moore, Elijah Moore, and Dylan probably, I would say. You can't really go wrong if you're straying, by one of those players. Just don't dip into the guys I didn't mention, but I think that's an easy one. Easy drop. I appreciate you for dropping another super chat, bro. 12-man PPR, critique my team. Hurts, Bijan, Walker, fantastic. Debo, Ridley, fantastic. Pickens, Hunter Henry. My bench is Algier, Watson. Watson's fantastic. JSN, I think, still wait on him. And Kamara, I wouldn't touch this team. This team's phenomenal. It's built to win. I don't care what your record is. I don't care if you told me you're 0-3. No changes need to be made unless someone's coming to you and saying, I'll take Hunter Henry and Pickens and I'll give you a freaking Devontae Smith. Or I'll trade you Breece Hall for freaking Charbonnet, which in this case it'd be tough because you got Walker. You know what I'm saying, though. I'd definitely stash a JT. I'd take a Kamara, put him on the pine. I'd take a Garrett Wilson for a bench wide receiver. But like past that, you don't need to make a move. That team's phenomenal. It's an 8 out of 10 minimum. And I don't care what your record is. Bro, it's a call-in. I'm losing. Bro, it's a call-in. I'm losing. Ian, I don't know what that means. But I appreciate you. Maybe you're trying to call into the phone line. Colin is considering trading Stevenson for Swift. Crazy. Bro, did you not watch the game? Colin, I'm not mad at you, but did you not watch the game? This is 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row Swift is doing this. And right now you're looking at a top 10 running back. Stevenson, you might not be able to get Swift with Stevenson. I don't think he'll pull it off, actually. So is it crazy? It's crazy for the Stevenson owner. Or I'm sorry, it's crazy for the Swift owner to give you Swift. And if you do this, it's a good move in my eyes. Could that flip? Absolutely. Could Stevenson become a top 10 running back again as Swift get injured? That's the nature of fantasy football. But at this moment in time, I don't think a single person in this chat would rather have Stevenson over DeAndre Swift. And if they do, it's because they traded Swift away and they're bitter about it. And they're just answering based on that bias. This super chat here from Clayton. Appreciate you. Half PPR, Lawrence, Stroud, or Purdy. I'm still going Lawrence, and you can ride with that or not. I know a lot of people are, he's dead to them, but I still believe the Law Dog will return. I don't feel like the Law Dog's a bad quarterback. I think that things have been in shambles. He had touchdowns dropped in both weeks 2 and 3. There are plenty of times where he would have scored a touchdown, and it is what it is. The footballs are being dropped. I still believe in the Law Dog. And I know a lot of people are ready to get off the train, and that's fine. People are returning the milk to the store. They say the milk's expired. And I'll admit, if we get to like week 5 or 6 and we're still, I'm not even saying I'd jump ship after next week if he had like 1 touchdown and 300 yards and an interception. I don't think I'd jump ship. I think if we get to week 5 or 6 and he's not returned to form, I could maybe tell you that the milk got spoiled. But right now, I'm not jumping ship after 3 weeks, one of which he did well. Drop either Watson or Dak Prescott for Stroud. I'd probably say Dak. I mean, Watson played rather well. I'm not saying I'd drop Dak for Stroud. Probably would. Traded Swift for Brees week 2. Now I'm sad. Just Joey, don't sell low and just, wait it out, bro. I mean, it is what it is. You can't think about what happened in the past. You got to just move forward and try and make the best trades you can. Maybe this will make you make a move or a waiver wire addition that you never would have been on your toes about had you not made that. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you get a speeding ticket. You can't think of it like, I got a speeding ticket. There's $300 out the window. Try and think about it like if you didn't get pulled over by that cop, there might have been a red light runner that would have hit you at that next light. And it's a blessing in disguise. Like, I'm not saying that trade's a blessing, but wait, maybe Breece Hall's top 5 in weeks 9 on. Maybe the Jets trade for somebody, or they bring in Carson Wentz, who's not a great quarterback by any means. I'm not suggesting that he is, but he can throw the football down the field to Garrett Wilson. And we know that Garrett Wilson would have a freaking decent year for sure. He'd be back in the top 12 wide receivers. Breece Hall would be, the football will be run through Hall. His production's gone up. $5 from Ronaldo. Fields, Cousins, Diggs, Wilson, DJ Moore, Addison, Watson, Moore, Sanders, Swift, Andrews. What can I get for G. Willie and Andrews? Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, probably off the table. Ridley, Olave, St. Brown, probably tough to get. Cooper Kupp and like a player. Christian Watson and JT, something like that. JT and another wide receiver that maybe isn't as good as Christian Watson, but you still like a lot. That's probably where I'd take that, bro. Those are good questions. So Sealy with a $5 hauler, 10-man PPR. Najee Bryan. Sorry, I got you excited there. Kyron Williams, Monty, Chase, Amon-Ra, Waddle. Look, your wide receivers are phenomenal. Laporta, top 5 tight end right there. Very, very good squad, other than the fact that, you got Najee and Brian. Brian Robinson's holding his own, and Kyron's, obviously a good running back, but we question what we're going to see moving forward, right? But I still like him. I trade Najee the first chance I get. I try and get a Gibbs. I try and get a Breece Hall. Why not try and at least go after a player we know has the talent? You know, even though Gibbs doesn't get the work or he's misused, he has the talent. Najee doesn't look like he has the talent. And so I'm getting rid of Najee. You might have to trade Najee across position and then flip that player later to try and circle back to a running back upgrade, because I don't think Najee's getting you anything. Maybe you can trade a running back needy person, Najee Harris, and get their freaking Ridley, who they're concerned about, or their Devontae Smith. You know, Debo's off the table now. That would have been ideal. Christian Watson and a running back would be ideal. Somebody might have a Breece Hall and Christian Watson type of player that you could go get. Those would all be moves I would be looking to make with Najee. I would sell Brian Robinson high if that was the direction you had to go as well. Like Brian Robinson and Najee for one player, one running back that you believe in. I've seen people get Bijan for this right now. It's crazy. Bijan Robinson is being sold as if he's a mid-second round running back or mid-second round overall player in some context. People are just knee-jerk reacting because they're 0-3 and they're like, might as well. This is the phrase I'm seeing a lot too. Might as well shoot for the moon on this one. Trade Christian Kirk and Palmer for Garrett Wilson. I'd rather have Garrett Wilson, bro. I'd rather take the chance on Garrett Wilson getting his QB room situated somehow, some way. T-Law, 0-3. T-Law, Ridley, Amari, B-Rob, Kamara, Kelsey, Puka. Keep it. This team is going to rebound. It's a very, very solid team. Very solid. And there's not even a lot to trade there because you need a lot of things to pop off. Saul's 0-3. Starters are Burrow. It's a $10 hauler, by the way. My boy Saul coming in strong. Starters are Burrow, Swift, Moss, CD, AJ Brown, who did well, Ridley, who didn't, Garrett Wilson, who didn't, Christian Watson. Keep him. JT's coming for everybody, and this is a good team. You're 3-0. What's this? Feels like you're 0-3. It feels like you should be 3-0. I agree. Just picture you're 3-0, and don't let it hesitate what you're doing. I mean, CD's a little concerning. AJ Brown bounced back big time. Ridley, I'm not worried, but it is disappointing what he did. Your receivers are off the hook. And Swift is playing like a top 10 running back, as we said. Moss played very well. This team should have done better this week. It's Burrow that kind of held you back. I think Burrow coming out of this game unscathed is great. But I don't know that I'm making any crazy moves. You may want to go to the Walker owner, see if you can acquire Walker using Moss and Garrett Wilson or something, or trade him Charbonnet and try and get a Breece Hall or a Gibbs or a freaking player like, I don't know what RB you could even go after. Eckler's an interesting buy low for a lot of you as well. I haven't said that too much tonight, and that is definitely going to be a player that we're talking about. But I wouldn't freak out about that team whatsoever. I'd go after those moves I mentioned. Maybe a little Burrow upgrade using a bench player. Subscribe if you're new. We got 834 people in here and only 256 thumbs up, which is a respectable number, but I love for the numbers to match. That would be phenomenal. So hit that thumb up button if you could. Good trade. Laporta, Dell, Garrett Wilson for JJ and JT. Laporta, Dell, and Garrett. Look, let me put it this way. Case, not only did you get him,
Got him.
but you got a little greedy. I don't know if you're sending this out, because there's no way this got sent to you when you actually wavered on it and are messaging in and asking if you should do it. I think maybe you're cooking this up, right, Case? There's no way this is going to get accepted. Laporta, Dell, and Garrett Wilson can't even get you JJ. And if this person's giving you JJ and JT, they don't have a pulse. They're in a coma, and your league's going to veto it anyway. But Case, if you pull this off, please circle back and let us know. We'll give you a standing ovation. That would be the trade of the year. Finn's Fanatic coming in with a $10 hauler. Finn's, appreciate you very much. Finn's coming in saying 12-team league, Superflex, Tua, Allen, Swift, White, Hall. Great running back stable, to be honest. I mean, considering this is a team where you've got Tua, you've got Josh Allen. I assume that it's Superflex, right? This is a fantastic squad. Yeah, Superflex. Okay. So to have Swift, White, and Hall you can bench for now. Sharps, Warren, you're very set. To have the wide receivers you have with those quarterbacks and still have Swift and White, it's not bad at all. And Hall waiting in the wings. If you got freaking Kamara, I'm going to lose my mind here. You don't. Missed out on Achane to keep Sharps. It was understandable move at the time, and you can't beat yourself up over it. But Diggs, St. Brown, Watson coming back, you were going to be in prime position. Maybe you consider trading Rachaad White and Dell for just a little bit of a running back upgrade. Go after Kamara, go after Gibbs potentially. There's a lot of moves that can be made for your team this week without touching anything else. I just focus on maybe that Rachaad White upgrade using Dell and just poke around at a bunch of different players. Just turn Jacobs and Kupp into Christian Watson and Ridley. I think that, that could be, I'm not saying it's not great, or I'm not saying it's bad either. I'm just saying it depends. What happens to Cooper Kupp? What does Cooper Kupp look like? I wish I could tell you that, yeah, you for sure crushed it. I like it. I think it works out for you. But it depends. You definitely sold low on sold medium on Jacobs because he was hard to sell, and he definitely doesn't look good. Kupp, it depends on how those two rebound. There's no real easy answer for that one other than you got the safer side for right now, for sure. But in 2 weeks, it could look different. It might look even better for you 2 weeks from now. Again, we don't know for sure. Kupp news won't come out like next week, midweek, or tomorrow. And we have a breaking news show where it's like Kupp is actually going to need more time. We have no idea. What's up? My guy texted in here. Trade Waddle and White for Pollard. I would take Pollard. Current roster, I don't even think I care what the roster is because talent-wise, I like this trade. I think Waddle and White solid. I think if you needed two players, that wouldn't be a horrible move for the other owner, to do this trade. But I'd rather have the Tony Pollard side. He looks fantastic, unbelievable. It fits your team anyway. But I'm just saying in general, it's hard to say no to a trade like that, regardless of what the roster looks like. $5 hauler, Matthew, appreciate you. 2-1, 12-team, 2 QB. Full PPR. Hurts and Richardson, fantastic. Howell, maybe trade bait if he bounces back. Keep an eye on that. Maybe react right away if Howell does have a good game to try and get some value there. Gibbs and Pollard and Mostert, fantastic. Put Mostert and Pollard in. We'll see if Gibbs fits into your flex as we roll through your lineup here. Lockett, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Dotson, Addison. Addison probably needs to be starting, to be honest with you. I think G. Willie still needs to start for you in this situation, and probably DJ Moore is your third wide receiver. And then if you have a flex in addition to that, then you probably throw Gibbs in there. If you can only start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex, then I'd probably put Gibbs in as my flex instead of, maybe Garrett Wilson or DJ Moore. I'd probably start Garrett Wilson, but that's me. Addison, Kincaid, how can I improve? Trade-wise, you're waiting on Howell. Trade-wise, you could potentially trade Mostert on the high. I don't think that's crazy at all. I think rolling with Gibbs and Pollard with your 2 quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson and Hurts, and a 2 QB is phenomenal. So to have Gibbs and Pollard as your RBs and to sell high on Mostert to go get Ridley, to go get a St. Brown, go get an Olave, I think you can totally get that for Mostert right now. And if you had to throw in something additional, you could. But that's a fantastic move, bro. If you can get a top 5, 6, 7 wide receiver that's doubted right now, that you think could be even better than top 6, 7. It could be 4 or 5 on the wide receiver front. So fantastic move. Mostert's a great piece to trade right now. I'm not saying don't hold him either. Don't sell him low, but like Ridley, I take Ridley. 2-1, full PPR, QB, Pickett, Burrow, running back, Bijan, Gibbs, Breece Hall, Roshan, Debo, Olave, Tank Dell. Love the trio of wide receivers. Christian Watson coming back is fire. Gibbs and Breece. Breece is what he is right now, but you got Gibbs and Bijan. I start both Gibbs and Bijan. I start Burrow right now unless we hear setback or something like that. But he came out unscathed. So Breece is Burrow's your starter. I don't know that there are any moves really here to make other than you're waiting on Christian Watson to gain value. You're waiting on Breece to bounce back. You're waiting on Gibbs to bounce back. You're waiting on Bijan to bounce back. Any move you made with these guys would be selling low. So my advice to you is, like a lot of you that don't have players to sell and you'd be selling low and you're trying to get out of players because they're slumping, you got to stand down.
Alert. Stand down order in effect.
Don't go trading away something before it gains value back, because you still have time. We're literally freaking 3 weeks into this football thing. Ahmad with a $20 hauler. Let's go.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Ahmad What's next for this team? 0-3, T-Law, Gibbs, Walker, Ridley, Watson. You're waiting. The problem has been T-Law. The problem has been Gibbs. It hasn't been Walker. I mean, Ridley dropping passes didn't help today. This team is literally in wait-and-see mode unless someone comes and buys Achane for the world. And I don't know if you could throw Achane into the flex spot. Maybe throw freaking Brees on the bench for now. But if you could trade Achane away for a Ridley right now, might be a good move for you. Wide receiver shopping would be very good. Devontae Smith using Achane, Ridley using Achane, Olave using Achane. Rock out, still rolling through these super chats, but you are a Mars man, so you got a good 30 or 40 seconds real quick, and then I'll open phone lines again later, pal. What can I do for you? Thank you, Ahmad.
So going forward, are we still wrong with Jordan Love till further notice instead of playing Burrow?
I think you got to right now because Joe Burrow being back to the degree that Chase is getting fed is fantastic. That's great. Like, it makes Chase owners breathe easy. It's half the pancake stack doing good again. But and Burrow should have had a touchdown or two, but he wasn't mobile. Higgins dropped a first down that would have put them right in scoring position, and they had to kick a field goal. They also had to kick a field goal quite a bit, instead of being aggressive. And so, for that reason, it's like, I know Burrow's easy to write off right now and bench, and in some cases you shouldn't do that for like a Stafford or something like that. But when you're talking about Jordan Love, bro, Jordan Love has been playing out of his mind, and all of the quick reacting Quintons in week number 3 at halftime were writing Jordan Love off. This guy's trash. I can't tell you how many YouTube comments, Instagram DMs, Instagram comments I got that said this guy Jordan Love's trash. This is the guy you kept shoveling out there in front of people. He hasn't had his number 1 wide receiver or his number 1 running back, which is actually his second best wide receiver as well, out there. Imagine if Josh Allen didn't have Diggs. Imagine if Mahomes didn't have Kelsey, which we got to see come to fruition in week 1. There's so many opportunities for Jordan Love moving forward, and you have to start him. He's a must start.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling.
All right. Hey, appreciate it, Rock Out. Call back when the line's open, pal. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. I know Fields has been frustrating, but he has a great matchup this week. I'm going to give him one more try, but just looking at Dobbs as I got sniped on Stroud. DeBalt, you got. I appreciate you, and I'm not saying this from a negative perspective, but you had to have hit this sooner. If you're going to the waiver wire now to replace Fields, like, you had to preemptively set this up. Going to get Dobbs right now, it's too late to try and back this situation up. But you have to trust Fields one more time over Dobbs. Dobbs could outscore him, though. That's the crazy part, is like, we say that, but I think you're in a position where you do want to wait for Fields, but you might have to make a trade, buy low on Joe Burrow if the owner. Look, I got Joe Burrow and Anthony Richardson in one league, and I'm trying to get rid of Burrow to upgrade my wide receivers or running backs because I'm going to roll with Anthony Richardson right now. And so I can't give away Burrow. No one. This is in the Marsman League. Nobody wants him right now. And they should, because I'm recommending other people in your situation, QB needy, go get Burrow. Burrow's cheap right now. You should be able to get him. Well, it's weird. I can't sell him, so I know he's cheap, bro. I know if someone came to me in the Marsman League and offered me a very good wide receiver 3, I would be contemplating. I'm talking about very good. I'm talking about, like, someone offered me Achane type material, and I got him in the Marsman League anyway. But, like, I'm taking that for Burrow. I'm taking it for Burrow because I got Anthony Richardson. Not that I don't want 2 quarterbacks. I got Brock Purdy. I feel okay about that. So I'd rather just beef up my lineup because I'm needing it. So go after Burrow. 1 QB, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Fields, Fields, A-Rich, Tua. You got to make a trade, bro. Brian Robinson, Warren. You need a running back very badly. You need wide receivers very badly. Your move to make is to trade Tua and roll with A-Rich. You have to. This team's not winning. Brian Robinson, Keenan Allen's playing great. Ayuk should be doing well. Andrews is, hit or miss. you've got to make a trade. You have to trade one of those quarterbacks, and I don't know that A-Rich is going to get you what you want. Tua could get you the world right now. You go reaching for the stars at wide receiver and running back. You could get a top 5 potential player at either position. Maybe a 2 player like JT and like a freaking, I don't know, JT and Ridley combo for Tua and something from your bench. You know what I mean? Get creative and try and make it into a JT or Kamara or something like that. But you have to make a move. JT and Kamara are your friend right now because they're a little undervalued, especially JT being out another week, whereas Kamara's coming back. Buy low on Kamara. We've been talking about it all off season long, especially hitting it hard all week 3 going into week 3. That's probably a done thing. PPR DK for Dell and Garrett Wilson. I'd probably take, what did DK finish with? He's been a little disappointing for sure. Metcalf just doesn't look, he's just not overall. He had 112 yards, but he did it so quietly. Like I didn't even know that I thought he was at 80 or 90. He had 112 yards on 6 receptions. He did have the touchdown in week 1. I'm going to say, as much as I love Dell, I'm sticking with DK here. I just don't know if you can trade him higher than that. Give me DK. Give me DK. I'm never giving up on Garrett Wilson. He is a must start for me in my rebuild. I got Dell and Flowers. I love those 3 wide receivers. Holding Najee here hurts so bad. I trade Najee for sure, Aaron, and I have tremendous respect for your Garrett Wilson faith, and I still believe in him strongly. You know, am I benching him in certain leagues where I have like Tank Dells and A-Chains and situations like that? Yeah, but it's a rare situation that I can't find a flex role for him. Just traded Diggs, Swift, and Watson for Laporta, Olave, and White. I needed a tight end I don't know. Diggs, Swift, and Watson for Laporta, Olave, and White? No. Cam, I love you, pal. I'm so sorry. I hate doing this. I hate doing this when I disapprove a trade, but when it's a super chat. But I have to be honest and real, and there's a reason you're asking me. And I think the chat's gonna agree that that's not a good move. I mean, for starters, we're talking about the fact that you've got, I mean, yeah, Laporta is a top 5 tight end potentially, but he is a rookie. You're getting Olave, and you're getting downgraded or potentially a wash on Olave, Diggs, but let's call Diggs better because he technically is. Diggs over Olave, Swift over White by a mile right now, and then Watson, Laporta. I just don't like that trade. I don't know what the chat thinks, but I don't think you should have done that. There's a lot of oh no's. And Cam, come to us next time. That is not a good. I don't care if you need a tight end. That whole Can I also tell you something, Cam? The psychology behind this right here. Whenever someone comes in and prefaces it by saying, right here after you tell me the trade, you say Olave and White needed a tight end. Is this a decent trade? I know that you're thinking that needing a tight end is going to justify it, but it's not. Like, there are better moves to make. I'm sorry, bro. Come to us next time. We will help walk you through that and get you a better trade. It still could work out for you, but got offer Brees for Swift. Any thoughts? I take Swift going forward. It's just the reality of the situation. Doesn't mean I don't love buying low on Brees Hall, but Swift is worth so much more than Brees Hall. You'd be selling low on Swift and buying high on Brees. That's the complete opposite, Eric, of what you should be doing. Was thinking of trading Garrett Wilson and Swift for Jamar Chase. That I don't mind. I still like the Garrett Wilson Swift side, though. Like, I think it's an arguable trade on both sides of the fence. If you need depth, I take Garrett Wilson and Swift. If you've got depth and you need a bigger piece, go after Chase. I could get behind either side depending on the position of need that you have. Owner lost Mike Williams. I have Ridley K9. Yeah, don't do the other one, though. Like, the other one's garbage. That one, the second one makes sense if it makes sense for your roster. Just traded away Diggs for ETN and St. Brown. I would take ETN and St. Brown in a millisecond. You got him on that.
Got him.
That's fantastic. I love how there's certain players people are giving up on after like 1 week. Trade Achane for Gibbs and Waddle. Rest of your team Fields. I don't even need to see the rest of your team. You're trading Achane for Gibbs and Waddle. You have two players that could win that trade for you. Gibbs could be, in theory, better than Achane, even though I like Achane a little bit more right now, just to be honest. But in theory, Gibbs could beat Achane, and Waddle could beat Achane. That is one of the easiest trade offers I've heard all night, and that's how you negotiate a sell high right there. Congratulations, you will get him if you do that trade.
Got him.
And that's coming from an Achane supporter like no other. 1 and 2 PPR QB, Dak Stroud, wide receiver Hill, Lamb, Deontay Johnson. What are we doing with Deontay? Addison is your wide receiver. Well, Dell and Addison. Dell might be better than Addison. I don't know. Running back AK, JT, Gibbs, Khalil Herbert was offered T-Law, Gabe Davis for Dak Addison. I guess I would do that for the quarterback upgrade, which a lot of people will say that he's not an upgrade. I would rather you go get Ridley. I'd rather you get Ridley. I don't know if you could throw in something like Dell to get Ridley. V-San, I'd probably be more apt to do a trade that you throw Ridley in and you give him Dell. I love Dell, but I would definitely want Ridley. 10-team PPR, Hurts, Bijan, K9, Garrett Wilson. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, guys. We're breaching 22,800 subscribers on this very live stream right here. Appreciate you. 289 thumbs up with 830 of you watching right now. Please hit that thumb up button as well. If we could at least get to 500 likes on this show, that would be great. We have 830 people watching. 10-team PPR, Hurts, Bijan, K9, Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Kincaid, Kyron, benches, Breece Hall, Pacheco, McLaurin, JSN, Christian Watson, IR, 2-1. It's a good squad. Hurts, Bijan, K9, you can't complain about that team at all. Only thing you might want to do is upgrade Garrett Wilson, using a Pacheco, using a McLaurin, using a freaking Christian Watson if he comes back. You just might have to wait. There's not a lot you can do right now, and I don't think I trade Bijan low. I don't trade Kenneth Walker. Unless I'm getting JT or Kamara and a big wide receiver that people don't seem to value. Like, that's the only way I trade Kenneth Walker. I would trade him for JT and a freaking, I don't know, like a Devontae Smith. The people are so reactive. Devontae Smith is going to be a yard sale. He's going to be on half off. Devontae Smith this week. Half off. He didn't have quite the game he should have had, Smitty. Are we getting rid of him? That's going to be the question of the week. 808 of you in here. Punch that thumb up button. Appreciate you. PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. Thoughts of trade idea. 2-1. Start Fields, Bijan, Kamara. Bijan and Kamara are great. Fields, not so much right now. I don't know what other wide receiver or quarterback situation you have. I'm looking, I don't see it. You got Devontae Smith, great wide receiver. Garrett Wilson's a good wide receiver too. Puka's a good wide receiver too. You're fine at wide receiver. Deontay, I don't know if he's necessary. I love Bijan and Kamara. The only thing I'm doing if I'm you is I'm trying to get rid of Fields to upgrade into a T-Law is probably the cheapest, risky, and Burrow quarterbacks you can go get at a reasonable price. Meaning you give up maybe Tutu Atwell and a player like Hunt or something and Fields and try and find somebody that happens to have Burrow and they have Anthony Richardson, or Anthony Richardson and somebody has Hurts. Find that one quarterback, that 2 quarterback team that has the potential to trade you on the Tutu Atwell value or something like that. Puka, I would consider trading straight up for like an Anthony Richardson or above, just to get your quarterback room on point. And I think your wide receivers are good enough where you can actually do that trade. Not to mention, I mean, Puka looked good tonight at times, but it definitely feels like, when Kupp comes back, it's going to be hard for that offense to feed both of them consistently. I think Puka will still be very good. But if Stafford goes down, he is the engine behind the Puka, Nakua, and Cooper Kupp overfeeding. If that engine breaks down or breaks, period, there's no overfeeding being done. The backup quarterback's not replicating this process. It's not that easy. That boy with the 11-month membership, start 2 this week, T-Law, AR, and Stroud. I go T-Law and AR5. That's me. I know some people might take Stroud over T-Law. It's probably safer. Maybe we wait till a little later in the week before we settle on Stroud and T-Law. We look at everything. We break the matchups down a little bit, although matchups are crazy when you think about how they've been directing people, including me, and some of my direction to other people. And it hasn't been something that we've at the end of the day, it's like matchups can only dictate so much. I mean, look at some of the best starts of the past couple weeks have been against tough defenses. You know, look at Puka Nacua against the Niners. Look at Kyren against the Niners. It's just, look at James Conner this week against the Cowboys. That one's on me because I said Cowboys are tough. I know we've been saying don't use matchup, but then what do? I sit there and tell people that Connor's going to have a tough day, and he didn't. He had a great day, and that's on me. And I've taken my lap on that, and I've been very, very open about that all yesterday and today. Trevor Lawrence plays the Falcons in week 4. I'm going to go T-Law. Appreciate you. Who dat has this question? Need help with my running back. Stuck 0.5 PPR. Need to make some moves. I have Herbert, Diggs, Amon-Ra. Very good quarterback and wide receiver combo there. Brees, Kelly, MT, Gus, Roshan, Dillon, Algier, Spears, Watson. Your only move is to either wait on Brees, you start him, and you wait on him at the same time. Put in Algier for safety and roll with that, and you get Christian Watson back. And if you can start 4 wide receivers, then it's a pretty solid squad regardless. But if you can only start 3 wide receivers, you probably do have to at some point bank on trading Diggs or Amon-Ra for 2 players. And the JT Kamara owners come to mind more than any other running back players, you know, that we can think of. Like Achane and a wide receiver for Diggs, and you have to get a nice wide receiver. Go to the Ridley owner, see if they have an Achane. Go to the Ridley owner, see if they have a JT. Go to the Ridley owner, see if they have a Kamara. And maybe you got to throw in another player or something. But you've definitely got to make that move, I think, if you can't start the 4 wide receivers. If you can start the 4 wide receivers, you may want to toy around with the Christian Watson flex in your 4th wide receiver spot lineup this week and see what's what. But that's assuming he plays. Start Lamar, Aaron Jones, Kyren. Mike Williams is out with the ACL. Tyreek, Tank, Charbonnet, or no, that's DJ Shark. Okay. JSN, Sky Moore, Treylon, Hyatt, Reynolds. How can I do after losing Mike Williams? Kyren lost value tonight. You can't trade him. Aaron Jones doesn't have the trade value yet, but he will if he rebounds and goes off. You're forced to wait. The only thing you can do, and to be honest with you, and I know this is hard to hear, and I know a lot of Tyreek fans out there are going to say you can't trade him. You can never trade him. You have to. If you're losing, you have to. What are you going to do? Hold on to a guy, lose, and have a good time watching Tyreek Hill have great games? You've got to do the JT Kamara plus a wide receiver potential combo trade. That makes the most sense for your team, especially if you can start 3 running backs through a flex or something. You trade Tyreek Hill, you have to go after the Ridley, you have to go after the Olave, you have to go after the St. Brown owners. Jamar Chase is now off the table. That was one of the best buy low wide receivers walking into this week. Devontae Smith is now probably dipped into that. Devontae Smith, and just hope the JT owner has Devontae Smith. Go to the JT owner, go to the Kamara owner, and see what kind of max deal, a super max deal you can get for the Tyreek Hill situation. Do not trade him unless you're getting an absolute bag, bro. Do you understand? There's a big difference between trading Tyreek well and trading Tyreek bad. So don't go screwing it up and getting rid of Tyreek in a deal that's not going to get you 2 big guns. $20 hauler from Ninja.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert.
Ninja, appreciate you, man. 2-1. My bench is Swift, Love, Flowers, Dell, JT Watson. I literally have no room for Achane. I want him. I dropped him for Tank, Dell last week and have T-Law, Bijan, Cook, Pickens, Ridley, Addison, Kincaid. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably tell you, bro, if you have, like, if Kincaid's your starter, you know, and I'm assuming this is a redraft, I don't know what you do. Drop your kicker for now. Ninja, drop your kicker for now, pick him up, and then make your kicker decision later. Try and make a 2-for-1 trade. 100%. Confirm that you hear me on that one, bro, because that's the move to make, Ninja. Drop your kicker, bro. Pick him up later. Buy yourself 6 days. Ryan and Kincaid. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you. J Wall, Superflex, QB, T-Law, CJ, Taif with the 3-month membership question. Should I do this Evans, Mostert for AJB and Najee? I'd rather have Evans than Mostert. But I do shop Mostert though, Big T. I do shop him, but just I feel like maybe Evans and Mostert's a little bit more valuable than AJ. I just don't trust Najee right now, bro, at all. And I think Evans and AJB are very close. So, Tater Toddy says, I'm down by 4.8 points toward the end of the game with 2-2 going against Chase and got 7.1 points to that TD. Final score 165.2 to 162.98. I won by 2.2 points because of 2-2. 2-2 out well to the moon. Tater Toddy wants a moonshot.
To the moon.
Attaboy, Tater Toddy. Appreciate you. This one from J Wall. 0-3 thoughts. Waddle. Okay, so proposed Higgins and Ramondre for Waddle and Hall. I would take Waddle and Hall. It's a tough trade. Higgins looked like crap tonight. It's his 2 games out of 3 now that it's not just that he wasn't targeted or something. He's literally been dropping the ball and playing like garbage. And he's injury prone. So I would rather take the chance on Breece Hall on that trade and get Waddle in an awesome offense that's looking amazing. Look in chat, didn't have enough characters. Okay. Let's see here. Hold on, Colts. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. I'm searching. There's not another message from you right now. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to look for another message from you in a little bit here. Mac, appreciate you. $4.99 Holler, 12 team, 5 PPR, 0.5 PPR, 1 and 2. Burrow, Hall, Achane, Chase, Olave, Dell. Very good team. Cousins on the bench. Probably put Cousins in, I guess, for now. London, I don't know. We'll have to play it by ear on Burrow. You know, if he starts like progressing well or something, I still think Burrow can get back to form for sure. Quentin Johnston is this a chip team? I think it can be. I mean, Mark Andrews, Olave, you need a couple things to like come together for you. But it definitely could be, and I don't know that there's any move to make. You got to wait on Hall. Hall needs to rebound. Achane needs to continue. I do believe in Chase and Olave and Dell and at least the Cousins-Burrow combo if you rotate it right. I think it is. As far as trades, I don't know that you can really do much other than shop Achane for JT Kamara in a deal and throw in a London, or potentially trade Cousins and Achane for like Mahomes. You know, if that don't like that kind of move. A Jalen Hurts is even tempting. To get that kind of quarterback using Achane would be pretty smart in some ways. But holding what you have is also nice. And you already have Burrow. You know, so if Burrow and Achane get you Mahomes or Josh Allen, that might be worth it. But if it's not that quarterback, not one that feels 1 overall potential for you, you kind of just wait. Allen, Diggs, Chase, Pollard, and JT and Kamara as well. You know, look for those guys using Achane. Try and get some kind of 2-for-2 deal that actually gets you 2 players you quietly like better in Kamara or JT over Achane, and another player over said player. Like example would be just hypothetically saying like a Christian Watson over a Tank Dell, and then that way you feel comfortable with the trade. 12 team: Allen, Diggs, Chase, Pollard, Kyron, DJ, Ferguson. Bench is Higbee, Roschon, Gainwell. 3-0. You're doing good. You know, you're doing good work here. Chase and Josh Allen and Diggs and Chase are phenomenal. Pollard, I think you ride this out. I don't think there's any moves to make. You're 3-0 for a reason, and I don't think you mess it up. You're on the right track. You're doing good work. Aaron with the super chat, $5 hauler. I can't trade Najee. League is too smart. I'll be leaving meat on the bone. I wonder if 2 seconds for Najee. No, that's not enough. But you're telling me you can't. Can you get Achane for Najee? If you can't get that, can you get Breece Hall? Can you get Garrett Wilson? Can you get a Christian Watson and something? You know, can you get a JT or Kamara? I assume this is a dynasty league, right? So don't get Kamara then. I don't know if it's a dynasty league. Curb some of that if it's a dynasty league. Obviously, the second rounders involved, so it most likely is. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I'd say Najee for a wide receiver, even a Debo. You know, Debo, a Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown, maybe a Ridley. Ridley's older. I bet the Ridley owner is susceptible to a Najee plus something for Najee, and I mean you could do a Najee and a first rounder for the likelihood of getting the 1.1 this upcoming draft if you can identify that team. Maybe that team is you. You don't want to give up your pick. But there's ways to target, like throw Najee in to get your quarterback upgrade. Use him as window dressing for that. I have Mostert and Achane. Who do I trade for? I keep Achane and I trade Mostert because he's the most injury prone. I go after Debo's. I go after Olave's, Ridley's, AJ Brown's, Devontae Smith's, Gibbs, JT, Kamara. Those are all players that I'm targeting using Mostert. And if I got to give up something in addition, I would, to make the deal work. I have Gibbs too, says Ryan. Ryan, appreciate you. I don't know that changes any of the opinion, but Ryan, I appreciate you dropping the $2 hauler. My Chase Brown for Kelsey Ridley. Or Chase Burrow. Chase Burrow for Kelsey Ridley. His notables are Brees, Devontae Adams, Zay Flowers. I have Love. I mean, this trade's amazing for you because you already have Love. So I Smitty approve it. I smash it, and I think you start turning the tide there, bro. That's a fantastic move. Like clockwork. That is to a T how I would do it. 3-0, 12-man, any moves? I can already say you're doing the right things if you're 3-0. Hurts, Swift, James Cook, Chase, St. Brown, Waddle. Waddle, you've done this without Waddle too, so that's fantastic. Cowboys D. This is a good team. I'm turning James Cook into Gibbs if I can. I'm turning James Cook into Kamara or JT. And if you got to throw in Addison, so be it. Would I take Addison and turn him into Brees Hall and throw in a Kelly? I don't think anybody's going to necessarily take Kelly. Hunter Henry, I would start Kincaid and throw Hunter Henry in with an Addison to get one of those players like Kamara, JT, even Garrett Wilson would be tempting for this team. Debo, Ayuk, Zay Flowers is interesting as well. Those are all good players to add to this team. Not saying Zay Flowers for that combo of Addison and Henry, but Aaron Jones, Swift is amazing. James Cook, Henry, and Addison for an Eckler injured or an Aaron Jones. Eckler is a scary player for people to own right now, and you'll see a lot of people knee-jerk react and trade Eckler away. Trade my Tank Dell Achane for ETN Atwell. Pretty even. It sounds crazy, but 3 weeks in, this is insane that we're having this conversation, but I'd lean the ETN side because he's a little bit more proven. I love Achane, though. I love him. But ETN is playing very well. Roll the dice on the Achane side if you're a wild man, but I think the ETN side is safer. What does the chat think on that one? Is anybody they're rather of the ETN side or the Achane side? Let me put that up one more time. If anybody wants to see it, it was no, that wasn't it. I already lost it, but vote on which side you want. It was Tutu Atwell and ETN or Achane and what was it? Dang it! Let me see if I can put it back up. There it is. Can you guys vote for me on this one? ETN side, Achane side, Achane and Tank Dell, or ETN and Atwell. I'm gonna lean ETN side, but it's very, very close, very close. Anthony, appreciate you. 1 and 2, 12-team PPR, 1 flex. Fields, CMC, Moss, AJ Brown, Ridley, Mark Andrews, Ayuk, Zay, Addison, Charbonnet, Gainwell, 1 and 2. Don't know what to do other than hold. Yeah, I mean, you got to go after a better QB if you can. I don't see another one on this roster. You got to have a backup, bro. You knew that you need to have a backup with Fields. After week 1, there's definitely been quarterbacks available. So I assume you got somebody, but you probably got to start them at this point. If you don't have anybody, you're in trouble, and you got to go to those QB, saturated teams and go get a Love, go get an Anthony Richardson, go get a freaking Burrow. You got to. And if you got to throw Tank Dell in, you got to throw Tank Dell in. Zay Flowers, Ayuk, Andrews, Addison, A.J. Brown, really, you could afford to give up a Zay Flowers or an Addison as well to do some kind of move with Fields. Fields and Addison for a T-Law. Like, you got to do something. But if you got a good quarterback that's a backup, I'd also look to maybe upgrade Moss a little bit. Go after the Kamara, JT, Gibbs, Aaron Jones, Eckler, ETN type of move. Moss is pretty decent value right now, to be honest, and I wouldn't sell him cheap or anything, but would I rather have Gibbs over Moss? Absolutely. I'm going to take that risk every time, and maybe an Addison's all that cost to get that kind of upgrade going. Would I take Breece Hall? I would rather have Breece Hall than Moss, personally. That's crazy we're talking like that too. And could we talk different 2 weeks from now? Sure. Mahomes, Najee Harris, Sanders. I get rid of Sanders and Najee first chance I get. A.J. Brown, Waddle, Watson, Kelsey, very good on the wide receiver, tight end front, and the quarterback front. All this team needs to do is get at least one RB in there. I would trade Najee Harris and Sanders and go rogue at my tight end or my running back 2 spot to get Sanders and Harris traded into a JT or Kamara. And, bro, you might be able to do that for JT now. He's still got 1 week to go. Gibbs for Najee, Breece Hall for Sanders. I'm taking those risks in this situation. I don't know if you can somehow, some way, using like bench players or DJ Moore, turn Harris into Breece or Gibbs and turn Sanders into Breece or Gibbs. That would be insane. But if you can get JT or Kamara alone or Gibbs alone, it's worth taking the gamble with those running backs. They're scary running backs as it is. Why not take the gamble with the player we believe has the talent, at least, even if his team doesn't seem to be using him quite to our liking? We're 3 weeks in. Just got here. What was the verdict on Palmer versus Johnston? Johnston for me, but very, very close, Racing Boy. I hope that they just utilize in his skill set and kind of bring the best out of him, but I would lean toward Quentin Johnston. Could he take a couple weeks? Maybe, but I do think his big play ability will have them throwing at least some deep shots to him. So he could be one of those guys that gets less volume and targets than and what's his face, Joshua. But I don't know. Palmer is tough to trust. We've trusted him a couple times. This isn't the first time we've rolled him out think we're going to get great results for him on the consistent, and we don't. So I'm going to lean with Johnston. Could you go back through the chat? Sent a few before, says Ryan. Yeah, Mick Williams. What are we doing here? What can I do after losing Mike Williams? And Kincaid. I have Gibbs too. You got all these piecemeals, bro. Start Lamar, Aaron Jones. I mean, okay, so you got Gibbs already. So that makes things look better. You got Lamar, Aaron Jones, Gibbs, Kyron. You got Kincaid. You got Tyreek, Tank. This team's really good. You forgot some key pieces there. Yeah, that does change some things. Tyreek, you don't need to trade Tyreek. This is not a team that trades Tyreek. When you've got Aaron Jones and Gibbs and Lamar, you got Tyreek. Maybe Kyron, but I don't even know if you can trade Kyron on the high right now. I'm still trying to get JT or Kamara, Breece or Gibbs, using Kyron and maybe Tank. I still try and use Kyron and Tank together to get one big player, JT Kamara. I don't think Gibbs is enough. You want to get Gibbs and something back, but it's certainly something that I think is doable for you, bro. I think using Tank and Kyron can get you one JT Kamara type player. And Aaron Jones, I don't necessarily look to sell, but I'd be entertaining offers that give me Gibbs and a wide receiver like, Debo-esque before Debo exploded. Maybe a Devontae Smith and something like Breece Hall for Aaron Jones. Like, that might be a real good approach for you. Tater Toddy, appreciate your super chat. There's nothing attached. Let me see if Tater has anything in here that I can go grab real quick. Tater Toddy. Let's see here. Tater Toddy to the moon. Appreciate you. I think he's just dropping a super. Just being a monster. Keep the freak. I was down. Yeah, okay. He might have just been... Tater, appreciate you, bro. Coming in strong with just a random act of kindness. Tater Toddy to the moon. This one here is from Ninja. Again, trade Addison for Garrett Wilson. I would take Garrett Wilson. It's arguable. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to disrespect Addison's value or overvalue freaking Garrett Wilson's situation. But I would take Garrett Wilson over that. I think Addison's a nice, safe play, though. But I would rather have Garrett Wilson. 0-3, 1 flex. T-Law, Walker, Ford, B-Rob. I assume that's Brian Robinson. Chase, Olave, Ridley. Great wide receivers. Keep them together. Hawkinson, fantastic. I'm keeping this team the way it is. I'm even trusting T-Law in this situation. Walker, fantastic. The only thing you need to even contemplate is a Brian Robinson upgrade, if at all possible. I don't know if it's possible, but got offered Josh Allen any moves. What was your offer for Josh Allen, though, bro? You didn't even describe it. I mean, I'd take Josh Allen in a millisecond, but what is it? Parker, Spears, got offered Josh Allen any moves. What's the offer? Ford and B-Rob for like Gibbs or Kamara or JT. But I need to know what the offer is, bro. I can't really help too much without knowing what the Josh Allen offer was. But that's probably what I'd look to do, is trade the two running backs to a running back needy team. Maybe you get a freaking Ridley for those two. Maybe that's not the running back help that you need, but gets you sometimes cross position trades get you a better player. Then maybe you trade that player, but it sucks to do two trades to get one player. Like, you got to then make two exactly different trades. But tell me what the trade was, bro. Trade Deshaun Watson and Devontae Smith for Josh Allen. Trade Deshaun Watson and Devontae Smith for Josh Allen. Wide receivers would be Tyreek, Ayuk, Dell, Atwell. I mean, if your quarterback was like Fields or worse, you lost somebody or whatever. If you've got like Joe Burrow, it's hard, but if it's somebody you do not believe in and you don't want to ever play ever again, like Fields, and you're just done with them, I don't hate this trade. I think it's a costly one, but I probably do it if I'm you and you need that to win, and you still can. Your receivers are still going to be great. Now he say Tank and Achane for ETN and Reed. I probably still take it, my guy, but you're running a risk either way. Not getting ETN's a risk. Not getting rid of Achane's a risk. I mean, it's risk on both sides. ETN's a little safer. I don't know if he has Bigsby. I'd rather have Bigsby than Reed. 12-man PPR, no Lamar, Tua, Love, Saquon. PPR, no Lamar. PPR, I mean no PPR or non-PPR? What's that mean, no Lamar? Lamar, Tua, Love, Saquon. Lamar, what? That's Kamara. Lamara. Okay, Lamar, Tua, Love, Saquon, Lamara, Swift, Ford, Devontae Smith, Christian Watson, London, JSN, Kincaid. What wide receiver should I target? You feel better about moving? I like this team a lot. I don't think you just need to trade a quarterback. Kamara and Saquon and Swift are fantastic. Devontae Smith, Christian Watson, and London. I'm trading Tua and rolling with Lamar and Love because Tua gets you the most, and I go get a freaking Ridley, Olave, or Devontae Smith using Tua. And that's all I do. That's the main move here. And I think you get a trade done for sure. There's just no way you can't trade Tua for a top 5, 6, 7 wide receiver, in my opinion. Especially a couple that are struggling. That's the move to make. You're fine at running back. Your running backs are fantastic. $2 hauler from Maximus with no message attached. Appreciate that. I'll try and look for it later. Try and attach it because I don't have, by the time I get to it, I don't have your comments in front of me. Managed to go stay afloat so far with Taylor and Cup waiting in the stalls. All thanks to you, Smitty. Thank you, Racing Boy. Appreciate you. You to the moon.
To the moon.
You to the moon, my friend. Appreciate everything that you do and all your support. James P. Brees Hall, undraftable. These people should have listened to me, says James P. James P., it may seem funny now, but just patience, young Padawan. Appreciate you. And Tyler with a $20 hauler. Let's go, Tyler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Tyler coming in. What should I do with Waddle and start Burrow, Love, or Goff? You got to start Love. Love's about to get another weapon back, bro. Easiest question all day. Love looked fantastic in the second half at times. Obviously, he didn't look in the first half, but he doesn't have his number one running back. He doesn't have his number one wide receiver, and his number two wide receiver is also that same running back. This is a guy that's done amazing things without his weapons. So what should you do with Waddle? Probably start him and thank your lucky stars that you've got a freaking guy in an offense like that. You know what I mean? If you could trade him for Devontae Smith or higher, like Ridley, I would do it. But, I mean, Waddle's in a good situation, Tyler. I don't know that I'm not worried about him right now at the potential value. Scotty Dew says hello from Hawaii.
To the moon.
Scotty, appreciate you. Scotty to the freaking moon. Let's see if Colts Blooded did anything. Nope. Colts Blooded. Let's see if Maximus. Maximus did drop something here. See if I can go back to that one. Cold Blooded. I don't see anything from you. Colts Blooded. Colts Blooded. Oh, here it is. Okay, I don't know why that wasn't coming up earlier. We got it. There we go. Colts Blooded. Thank you. Okay, I'll come for those in a second. Kittle, Amon-Ra, Etienne, Jahan for Rids. Is that Ridley? Ridley, Bijan, Ayuk. Andrews. Kittle, Amon, Etienne, Jahan for Andrews, Riddle. Rids. The Ridmeister. I don't know who this is. Ridley? Andrews, Ridley, Bijan, Ayuk. You got to take the Andrews, Ridley, Bijan, Ayuk side. That's a smash, a home run, a freaking easy peasy trade of the year type of thing. If that's Ridley.
To the moon.
To the moon goes the man named Johnny Boy. Johnny says, I got Gibbs and Jay Cook, Charbonnet, Rashawn Johnson, Pierce, and running back is James Cook, a must start. James Cook is a must start in most situations for now. Getting Achane this week as well. I mean, I start Achane over James Cook, but James Cook is solid. He's probably better than Pierce right now. He's probably your running back 2 unless you get Achane, then he's your running back 3, Gibbs. And you could go James Cook and Achane and put Gibbs on the bench if you want, or Gibbs in the flex. I understand that for the time being. Scotty Dew says, me, appreciate you, Johnny Boy, but go get Achane, do a full load drop on him. Me and Gustavo waiting for you to come visit. Thank you, pal. I definitely want to come visit you guys really, really soon, okay? I hope so. All right, these here by Maximus and Colts Blooded. Didn't get to put anything in the $2 super chat I sent. You did, you just didn't fill it out, Maximus, but that's okay. I appreciate you anyway. Oh, well, anyway, thank you, Smitty. All your hard work, 2-1. Maximus, let me know what your message is. I can look for you right now. Maximus, retype your question, bro. And I will look for you personally. And find your question. So please type something, please. Help me rosters: Mahomes, Mixon, Kenneth Walker, T. Higgins, Pickens, Laporta, Zach Moss, benches AR5, Pierce, Mike Thomas. You're in need of a QB trade from one of these QB needy teams. Waddle and JT and Kamara. That's unbelievable going into your lineup this coming week. At least Kamara and Waddle and JT soon. This is a great team. The only thing I'm focusing on, because you got a top tight end there, is using one of your quarterbacks, probably AR5. I think somebody that's in QB need mode will definitely still give you a boatload for Higgins and AR5. And I'm talking like you can get a Pollard for AR5 and Higgins. You could get a Ridley or above easily. St. Brown, Chase would have been available to you prior to this week. Those kinds of moves, you got to get it done, bro. That will help this team get over on the over the top. Even if you don't, though, 0-3, I'm not worried because Camaro, Waddle, JT are coming. AR5, Pierce, and Higgins for one player. You got to be able to do that, though, Colts. You got to. There's going to be an opportunity for that. There's just no doubt in my mind. Maximus, I'm looking for your question, bro. Here we go. I played against Keenan Allen and still won. Nice job, Maximus. I played against Mostert, Tua, and freaking Kenneth Walker in the Marsman League against Mark Cleveland. And I had Achane and I lost. And I had Burrow, of course, and I had to start Minshew. And it was probably good I did. Or at least they scored about the same, I imagine. But definitely sucks. Hit the thumbs up button, guys. We got 334 thumbs up and 755 people watching. Maximus, appreciate your super chat, my guy. You absolutely rock. Thank you. Gustavo and Scotty Doo, you guys are unbelievable over in Hawaii. Dolphins and 49ers to the Super Bowl this year. Bro, can you imagine? As long as Tua stays healthy, that offense is going to continue to freaking ball. But he's got to stay upright, man. I still very, very much think one hit, and this is not to crap on Tua's production. Tua has proved everybody, including me, wrong in terms of being able to facilitate and score points in this Mike McDaniel Miami Mike system that is unbelievable. And they're the most exciting team to watch in football. I don't care what you felt about them beforehand. I don't care what you felt about Tua. You have to be able to admit that watching Tua Tagovailoa and this offense march the football down the field is unbelievable. But does that change the thinking that I worry about Tua getting hit? I do. You know, one shot, I still feel like, but you know, concussions aren't an easy thing to predict or know about, because you think one moment like a guy like Brandon Cooks is going to be concussion prone his entire career because he can't stay off on the field. He keeps getting concussed over and over and over. Brandon Cooks hasn't had a concussion in a while. It's weird. Concussions are weird, but Tua is definitely more susceptible to a concussion than the average player. But man, he's playing amazing. He's playing amazing. And if he stays healthy, the Dolphins are definitely a top 4 team overall. And Mike McDaniel is an absolute mastermind, a savant, an amazing coach, a player's coach. The players love him. And I'll be rooting for Tua. I'll be rooting for him. Absolutely. He's so good, bro. He's so good. All right, let's open the phone lines. Let's open the phone lines brought to you by...
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Texas Red. Dial into the Texas Red phone lines. Saul coming in strong earlier. Appreciate you. We're at 22,799 subscribers. This week we're hitting 23,000, which is phenomenal. You guys are unbelievable. I appreciate every single one of you. Young, my man, you are live, Young. Young, can you hear me? I don't know. He can't hear me. The phone system is down. Hold on, let me restart it. Actually, try. Let me see if I can get Young in here. Young, can you hear me? Young? Young, try it again. Daniel. Can you hear me, Daniel?
Yeah, maybe what's going on?
I don't know what's my phone line's doing.
No, it's cool. There's some guy asking for you online, and it's like, mute yourself, bro. Hey, anyway, so obviously waivers this week. Achane's already been on in my league. Mike Williams goes down. I know everybody's going to be jumping on Homer Johnston. But I just kind of wanted to drop this little tidbit. I know guy coming off injury, probably not the best guy.
You're breaking up a little bit, bro.
Hang on.
Try again.
Can you hear me better?
A little bit.
Yeah. What do you think about Jalen Guyton coming off of his ACL tear last year for the Chargers? I know that with Mike down, that was the guy that was kind of that deep threat. I know that's a real, long shot, but he's going to be coming off of injury here, I think like week 5. So if anything, you could put him on your IR if you got it. He was the guy that, Herbert would light up for 50, 60-yard bombs. So, I don't know if you were tracking him at all, but
he's definitely somebody to think about, though, for sure. I like Guyton a lot. He could never stay healthy, but he's definitely definitely a player that we need to keep an eye on for sure. For sure, bro.
Yeah. So if you got him out there, take a look, guys.
Yeah.
Put him in your IR spot. Worst that can happen, right?
Yeah. Anything else, bro?
Anyway, no, that's it. Oh, and just want to say thank you for Tank Dell. I picked him up a couple weeks ago. I've had him in my lineup both weeks, and guy's gone off. So you're a Dell truther, and I appreciate it.
Attaboy, bro. Appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Smitty.
All right, later. Young, you're live. What can I do for you, Young?
Smitty, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Loud and clear.
Okay, great. So let me just. Yeah, so I got that trade offer, ETN and Jalen Reed for Tank Dell and Achane. That's just a tough one,
ETN and Jaden Reed for Tank Dell and Achane.
For my Tank Dell and Achane.
Yeah, I think the majority. I think it was actually split. It was actually split in the chat. But I think it was a little lean toward ETN. I mean, bro. I mean, the way you risk it for the biscuit, but at the same time, I think there's just as big of a risk of not banking on ETN, who's looking great. But I guess I would say this. I would say, is there a chance that they misuse ETN a little bit and they start running Tank Dell on the goal line, and Peterson's got a tendency to go RBBC, running back by committee? But I mean, I don't know, bro. I think let's get another vote on that. Achane and Tank Dell or Jaden Reed and I'm sorry, ETN and Jaden Reed or Tank Dell and Achane, right?
Right.
I'll take ETN. I'll keep Achane and Tank. ETN, Tank and Achane. I'm keeping Dell. So split. It's like 50-50.
Yeah. Something tells me that I want a piece of this Miami offense,
Yeah.
And then, okay. And then also, man, one more quick question for you, bro. I have Dotson. What do you think about Dotson, dropping Dotson or Herbert? I have Roshan. Would you, Herbert or Roshan, who would you drop? Obviously, Herbert.
Herbert or Roshan, who would I drop? Herbert, yeah. I keep Roshan. But I keep Roshan.
Because Musgrave is just back on waivers now, and I have only Kincaid, and I'm thinking of maybe dropping like Herbert for Musgrave.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, the offense looks so bad. How in the hell are we to expect, either one of those running backs to do well now? So holding both of them feels like a waste. I think once they get back on track, maybe you'll have time to pick them up. It would be a shame to see Khalil Herbert being held back right now by the offense, but then he gets going and the whole offense starts clicking. Like, if anybody thinks that Fields can't rebound, they haven't watched the NFL long enough to know that things are so quick to change. I mean, look how Achane's available right now. Now people are saying he's a running back 1-2, and he wasn't even on rosters walking into week number 3 in 50% of the leagues. I mean, we were touting him here, But even here, we were like, okay,
Exactly.
well, who are you going to pick him up for? That's tough. I can understand that. Like somebody that came to me last week and said I have to drop Charbonnet for Achane. I would tell them, I don't know if you guys noticed, I would not say don't pick up Achane. I would say you can't drop Charbonnet, but I'm not saying to not go grab Achane. You got to. But like 1 week later, look at how high his value is. So everyone needs to keep an open mind that anybody can rebound in talent. This is not baseball where you're average, you're your average. If you score 6.758 points a game, 4.333, 9 points a game, that's what you do. You play so many games, it's a numbers game at that point. You are an average. You don't even have to watch baseball. You can dominate fantasy baseball by just looking at stats. Football is the only sport where you're playing, a guy's playing sometimes 10 games, not even 17. And in weeks 1 through 5, he could be a nothing. And in week 7 on, he could be the number 1 running back in the National Football League for 8 straight weeks, 7 straight weeks, 10 straight weeks. That's just the nature of football. And it's exciting, and it's what makes football so amazing. And a player can slump as late as 4 or 5 weeks. We've seen it before. And if anybody remembered, who was it that was slumping? Was it Antonio Brown? Forgetting who it was. It was back in I want to say 2018 or 2017 or something like that. There was a player that was top 5 at their position, and they slumped for 5 straight weeks. It was insane. And everyone's like, oh my God, they suck now. And they didn't. I forget who it was. I want to say it was Antonio Brown or Hopkins or someone like that. But it's crazy, man. Football's crazy, and you know, you gotta adjust and adapt. You gotta think about something that's, when we're 3 weeks in, there are some patterns we need to recognize and move on from, like the Jets not looking good, period. And until they replace Wilson with at least Carson Wentz or something, everyone makes fun of this take, and I could care less because it's how I really feel. From a football perspective, I'm not saying this is good for fantasy. I'm not saying it fixes Garrett Wilson. I'm not saying it's really even good for Breece Hall. But it's crazy to me that this team doesn't go kicking the tires on Cam Newton. With a defense, with a run game. But why not have a quarterback that can go out there and at least move the chains? And everyone can laugh at Cam all they want. You're talking about no other options. It's Carson Wentz. It's Cam Newton. It's quarterbacks of that caliber. And it's crazy to me that you wouldn't at least attempt it. You wouldn't say, let's go to Cam real quick and see what he can do. See what he can do. Let's bring him on as a backup. Maybe, whatever. It's crazy to me. But, hey, I got to get to these super chats. Young, last question.
Hey, yo, Smitty.
Yeah.
Smitty, brother. Hey, I just want to say, too, I like you. You were just saying how you said, I should have made Achane a moon man, should have made him a moon man. I like how on your show you just say that you like certain guys and you don't put them on the moon man list because it makes people pay attention more. Like you said, you liked Achane, late rounds, and he turned out to be what he was. You're doing a great job, man. I appreciate you, Smitty.
Thanks, Young. The Moon Man and Mars Man, I'm not saying I'm not doing it moving forward by this statement. I'm not trying to freak people out. But the Moon Man and Mars Man are tough for the show in some respects when you have a rough beginning or when people misunderstand what they're about. Like the Moon Man and Mars Man are not supposed to be 100%. They're not supposed to be even 80%. I'm not going to land 80% of the Moon Man list or Mars Man list ever. I'm probably going to land 75.
Upside guys.
Yeah, 75%. The problem is when people don't listen and they go draft all Moon Men. That's all they have. They're literally leaving no room for error or slow starts or anything. Your team's going to lose if all you do are draft high upside guys and they have no room for, whatever. Hey, I'm getting the super chats piling up. I got to go real quick. Young, call back in when we open the phone lines again. Appreciate you. Later.
Thanks, bro.
My whole point is the Moon Men and Mars Men list are tough because the reason I'm saying that is because then the whole show is judged on those 12 or 15 guys that are stuck out in front. And if they don't all land, everybody starts freaking out. Oh, this channel is crap. When we say I say millions of things. In 12 or 15 things are going to be the only things that are judged. That's what's hard about the 12 to 15 guys on a list like that. No other channel does that. Every other channel just says a lot of stuff. and just kind of lets it marinate in, and just you're going to hit some stuff, and everyone's judging 12 things. Yusuf, you got 30 seconds. I got to get to these super chats. 30 seconds, and I'm hanging up.
All right. Hey, Smitty, how's it going? I just wanted to ask, do you prefer Mims or Joshua Palmer as a waiver wire pickup?
Probably Mims. Palmer's nice. Quentin Johnston's nice. We don't know which one's going to be the guy. I lean Quentin Johnston, but could Joshua Palmer prove to be? Absolutely. Like Mims, I just lean toward Mims a little bit, but it's close. Very close.
And one more quick one.
Right.
I have Fields. Do you think I should prioritize Love or Achane this week on the wire?
Love or Achane? You have who? Who's your quarterback? Fields?
Fields.
You should have taken care of this last week when I told you over and over and over for 3 straight weeks, Yusuf. Now you could have had Achane and Love. Now you're only going to have one. This is league winning. Both these guys would win you a league, like help you win the league.
Yeah.
You need the quarterback, bro. I mean, I would say, like, do you have Fab or is it waiver order?
It's just waiver order.
You're not going to get both. You know what? Love didn't have the greatest game. Maybe you put in for Achane, put in Love too, and try and get both by using Achane.
My RBs are Etienne and Walker.
All right.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter. Achane's worth gold, bro. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I guess use your judgment on that, but you might be able to get both because Love kind of had a bad game. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So maybe you put in for both though. All right, later. All right, super chat's coming, rolling in here. Jarrett with a $20 hauler. Robert with a 20 spot, putting both those on screen right there. Appreciate you both very, very much for dropping those 20 wads. And let me give you the proper celebration.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
It's my guy, Robert. I have all the Moon Men and trying to be patient, but Mims is on waivers. Should I keep JSN or Dotson? I'd probably keep JSN over Dotson, I guess, but that's tough. Yeah, Robert, you can't own just Moon Men, though. You know, like, I feel bad for everybody that has just compiled just Moon Men, but, like, those are upside guys, you know what I mean? They're like breakout sleepers. They're some of them are high risk and high reward. Some of them are low risk, high reward, but some of them are projects. Some of them are, you know, they're players that, you know, that's the problem. You can't just own all Moon Men, and if they have slow starts, which a lot of them do. Last year, Walker had a slow start, Breece Hall had a slow start, then Breece Hall got hurt. We've had a lot of guys that had slow starts on the Moon Men list, and then they tore it up, and we ended up having a really, really good year on the Moon Men list. This year, we're hitting a lot, too. We have Debo on the Moon Man list, Kenneth Walker on the Moon Man list, Swift on the Moon Man list. Like, people are kind of tearing into the Moon Man list as if it doesn't have ballers on it. They're doing fairly well. Like, half of them are struggling, but that's the nature of a bold prediction list. You're not going to get 90-80% of a bold prediction list, but yeah, you have to be patient. You're 1-2. That's great, Robert. You're 1-2. Next year, diversify a little bit. Don't just draft only Moon Men. Put Moon Men lists on different players from the Moon Men and Mars Men list on teams, but compile other teams as well. Don't just, you know, roll out just those guys. I'll have all the Moon Men, or let's see, hold on, sorry. JSN or Dotson. I suppose I'd drop JSN or, I don't know, let's see. I suppose I'd drop Dotson for now. I think JSN could potentially really help some people down the stretch. And then this one right here by Jarrett, appreciate you. $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
That's my boy. Boy Jarrett coming in strong. Fins up. Have Tua offer my Achane for Gibbs straight up. I could get behind either side, bro. I'm tempted to say I like Achane a little bit more than Gibbs at this current moment in time. I do. Like, that's not a knock on Gibbs. That's just, it says a lot about Achane. That's all it is. It's not a knock on anything. But I'm okay with either side. I really do think Gibbs will tear it up, but I'd probably rather have Achane right now, bro. It's hard to say that. It's hard to say that, but again, that's not a knock on Gibbs. That's just how good Achane is right now. If not, my Achane and my Swift for Kamara and Gibbs. I'd just keep the Achane Swift side. I would trade Swift for Kamara maybe, or Kamara for Swift. Either way, those are pretty even. But I don't think I do that, bro. I don't know if the chat disagrees or agrees. Would you guys rather have Achane or Kamara? Achane or Gibbs? I have a feeling most of the chat's going to say Achane right now, which is understandable. Could he end up being worth very, very little next week? It's possible. He's in a committee, but so is Gibbs in a sense, you know. Okay, let's see. Yeah, diversify next year. I'll make it a point. I'm going to put on the Moonman list next year, even though I said it all the time. I'm going to put an asterisk and a thing on there that this is an upside list. You know, if it doesn't hit right away, you could be 0-3. Like, and not to mention, like, it also depends on the combo you have. Like, if you've got Swift, Moonman, Swift, if you've got Moonman, Debo Samuel, if you've got Moonman, Kenneth Walker, you know, if you got Moonman Olave, like, you're smashing it. But if you have the other 50% that are slow going, like, you're going to be 0-3 or 1-3, and you have to diversify for sure. Gibbs and Achane, just overkill. Achane, Swift, Gibbs, way safer. Gibbs at 17 carries. What do you mean? Says Jay. I know people need to calm down on Gibbs not having enough work. It's 17 carries for 4.7 a pop. We hitting the panic button on Jacobs. I've been hitting the panic button on Jacobs all off season, bro.
Alert. Panic mode initiated.
All off season. Appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much. Travis S says, I'm 1-2. I have Justin Herbert, Love, Anthony Richardson, Pollard, Kamara, Pacheco, Achane, Roshan, Dalvin Cook, Chase, Debo. Wide receivers are off the hook. Wait for Jamar Chase, or wait for Watson. He'll be back. Any moves, QB. It's one QB. Your only move, your best move, is to trade one of these quarterbacks away. And to be honest with you, you're going to get the most out of Justin Herbert, and you roll with the Love Richardson combo, which is going to fare just perfectly for you. Kamara, Pollard, fantastic. Chase, Debo, fantastic. You have the luxury of going and getting a Ridley for Herbert, going and getting a Olave for Herbert, going and getting a potential JT for Herbert. You have the luxury of going into any position and getting even a Kelsey potentially, although Kelsey's going to cost a lot more this week than he did last week. But use that quarterback, and you go to that team that needs a quarterback, and you have the luxury of saying, okay, they don't have good running backs. Let me see wide receivers. Oh, they got Ridley. Perfect. You're in a great position because you don't need to get a certain position back. If I have Love, do I offer T-Law for Achane? Absolutely, 100%. Start Jordan Love, get Achane on your roster immediately. Terry Roberts with a super chat says, Smitty, first week with my Chase trade, Marsman W. Nice job, Terry, going and getting Jamar Chase in the Marsman. Great move. QB Fields AR5. You're starting AR5 moving forward. Pollard, Gibbs, Swift. You're starting Pollard and Swift. Gibbs or Ford at the flex. Cooper Kupp when he comes back, obviously. Watson when he returns this week. You'll be better when Watson's back, when Cooper Kupp's back. You clearly have some wait and see players. Have first priority, and Achane, Dell are both on waivers. You're going to go after Achane. He gives you the most bang for your buck. I know you could technically use the wide receiver maybe a little bit more. Drop Fields, Judy for Tank Dell, CJ. I'd definitely try and get Dell for sure. But I'll put a claim in for Achane first, try and get Dell. Sometimes, if you're in a grandma league, no one puts in claims. It's crazy. But try for both. CJ over Fields probably at this point. But you have to get Achane, and then you can have some maneuverability in terms of trade. $10 hauler here from my boy Casio. Appreciate you coming in strong. Sup, Smitty? Should I make some moves? If so, who would you package and go for? Herbie, Love. Get rid of one of your quarterbacks if this is a 1 QB league. You have a lot of potential. I don't know who what the owner has, but that's your move. Start Love. Herbert's got a lot of trade value right now. Start Love. Saquon, AK, Sanders, Roschon, Herbert, Dillon, Evans, Higgins. Now, I will say your team's pretty darn good. You don't necessarily have to make a move. You might be able to hold on to your quarterbacks or trade Love. You know, Love's still got some value to somebody that has no quarterback. You know, they're gonna look at the game a little different than you did. Love and potentially a Higgins for Ridley. Love and Higgins for Devontae Smith. I bet you that move might be even better for your team. I would go that route. Rivera, appreciate you. 0-3 Superflex. Allen Burrow. You're just hoping Burrow bounces back. You got to hang on to that. Jones, Aaron Jones, Pierce, Algier, Gibbs, Waddle, Amon-Ra, Watson. You're waiting on Watson. London's a great player to potentially trade. You're waiting on JT. That's fantastic. Week 4 comeback. Yeah, you're in line for a comeback tour easily. The only players I'm looking to trade, I don't know if you would trade like Burrow for like Love. If somebody's interested in that because they saw Burrow come back. I'm not saying Burrow can't outscore Love, but you could go safety with that move if you wanted. I also think once Waddle's back, you'll have the flexibility to maybe move him if you needed to sell off for an RB. But if I'm you, I'm definitely looking to acquire Kamara or potentially Hall or Gibbs using combinations of London and potentially Pierce and Hunter Henry. And potentially, you know, maybe it's probably I would look to move London before I move Pickens, to be honest. I just feel like Pickens is getting targeted big time, and he's solid. Hey, Travis, I got you on the phone line. I can help you real quick. What's up, pal?
Hey, sorry, I had you on mute. I had one question, just one thing to add with the Moon Men. I was just looking at last year's list, and I know you said it. I just want to piggyback off of it. Like, Pollard wasn't a solid, like, every week contributor to week 7. Walker wasn't a contributor to week 5. Pierce was week 2, I think. And then, you know, he had that run before he got hurt. So ETN, everyone wrote ETN off up into week 4, you know. So it's definitely, I know we have a lot of new, like, subscribers and stuff. So for people who weren't here last year or new to the channel, it definitely is like you said, it's a league winner, an upside. You have to build your team around these guys.
Yeah, I do feel like, you know, I emphasize that a lot, but maybe not enough. But I'm not saying give up on any of them either for anybody watching. It's not like that. It's just that you can't draft bold predictions across the board and expect them all to hit. Like, we're hitting a lot of them, you know, like I would say, even if we're 40% or whatever, Debo, Swift, Kenneth Walker, Olave, like we're hitting a lot of them. It's just, you know, there are going to be 50% hit rate through 3 weeks when you're talking about a guy like Gibbs, who was said to be slow starting. A guy like Hall, they weren't going to get him going till week 4 or 5. They brought in Dalvin Cook because of their tough schedule, and they literally told us Breece Hall will not be full go till week 4 or 5, and everybody heard it, but they didn't believe it. And now that they're seeing it, they still don't remember they heard it. So it is what it is.
Well, yeah, like last year. Last thing I'll say on it is there was 15 of them, and even counting the guys who got injured, 10 out of the 15 ended up hitting. That I'm looking at here. So, you know, and even a guy like Pacheco, who wasn't on the list all year long, you said if he gets the opportunity, be ready to grab him. If he has the opportunity, be ready to grab him, and he panned out at the end.
We'll see. Next year, I need to do a better job of just making sure everybody understands that. But that's not to say that I don't think the list is gonna hit a home run across the board. I do think Fields is probably not gonna surprise. I do think that Okonkwo is probably not going to be the guy. Like, those are already misses that I feel like I could write off and say that I'm expecting those to absolutely bust on the Moon Man and Mars Man list. But I do believe we have a lot of potential for these other guys that everybody's completely just writing off. Like, Pickens looks fantastic. Like, there's a lot of good upside. But hey, got to get to these super chats. Travis, appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, just one quick question I was going to ask. Right now, I know it could change as the week goes on. Would you start Love over T-Law, even though it's a Thursday game?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Smitty.
Yeah, I mean, I still like T Love, but Love is better right now. All right, later.
Gotta roll.
All right, Garrett Wilson plus James Cook for Devontae Smith. I have Achane, Swift, Kyron. I'd probably take Devontae Smith and run, to be frank, bro. To be completely frank. Garrett Wilson plus James Cook for Devontae Smith. Absolutely. Thank you for your super chat, Foamy. Foamy to the moon. This is a Sam with a $5 hauler, 12-team PPR Dynasty Superflex, selling Tyreek and Pat Freiermuth for A.J. Brown and Travis Etienne. In Dynasty? Yeah. Give me A.J. Brown and Etienne. Even a redraft, you'd have to contemplate that for sure. That's a home run. That's a gotta move right there. That's a smash. Superfish with a $5 hauler. Maybe it's time for the Panic Chamber edition, folks. I definitely need to roll out a Panic Chamber this week for sure. You're the best. You're the best. Appreciate you. Adam with the $10 hauler. Adam, appreciate you coming in strong. Adam with that $10 wad on screen. I'm 3-0. I have Herbert, Anthony Richardson, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra Flowers. Your wide receivers are off the hook. Aaron Jones, Pollard, Kamara. Your running backs are off the hook. You got Achane. Any moves? Just wait on this team. And if it's a 1 QB league, you contemplate trading one of the quarterbacks with an Addison to go get a Ridley, to go get a JT. And that's the only move. Monty and Addison for a JT. Monty and Addison for a potential... I mean, I'd trade Monty and maybe I wouldn't trade Achane. Don't trade Achane. Maybe Rashad White and Rashad White, Addison, and Monty for JT. I mean, your team, you got so much depth, you could afford to do it. You easily could afford to do it. T. Benz with a $7.99. I'm going to drop right there. Saul, trade Diggs and Pacheco for Kamara, Etienne, and Thielen. I would take Kamara, Etienne, and Thielen over Diggs and Pacheco, but that's me. That's me. It's a tough trade because Diggs is that good, but you're getting two players that can compete with him. As I always say, if you could take a Diggs, turn it into Etienne, and what was that again? It was Etienne and Kamara. You think of it like this: Etienne could compete with Diggs. Not saying he outscores him, but he could try. Kamara could do the same thing. You get two players. You're diluting your risk into two different players that could easily hold their own weight in a trade. That's how you do it. That's how you do a one player traded away to get two players to a T. Have Mostert drop Algier for Achane, no question. I'm not gonna. Yeah, if you're forced to, yes, but I would try and drop someone else, even if it's your kicker, Grassman, for the week, and he buys you 6 days to make a 2-for-1 trade. And if you got to drop Algier for a kicker, you drop Algier for a kicker. But I'd rather hold the extra player unless you have the number one kicker or something. Trade Jacobs for Lockett and Pacheco. Not enough at all, Beacons. You're selling Jacobs so low, there's no way I'm doing that. You could easily get a Breece Hall or someone of that nature. A Gibbs. Add something with Jacobs and get a Kamara or JT, or get a Cooper Kupp straight up or something like that. 2022 Moonman list, straight money. Be patient, you all. Thank you, Young. Appreciate you. Seattle Fishing. I'm sorry. Seattle Fishing, Najee or Khalil for Achane. I mean, or I'd rather give Khalil for Achane, but I would trade either one for Achane, and I'd actually trade both of them for Achane. But I mean, Khalil's a lesser running back, and then you try and trade Najee for something else, but I don't think anybody's doing that. If that's a trade idea, it probably isn't getting done. Both of them probably won't get it done. First super chat, Hurts, Bijan, Gibbs, Pierce. Thank you, Benz, by the way. Bigsby, Debo, Amari, Christian Watson, Dotson, Puka. You got a lot of trade value here. Lockett, Puka, and maybe Lockett and Puka to upgrade Gibbs, maybe, or maybe just upgrade Pierce. You keep Gibbs, Lockett and Pierce for Kamara, JT, Lockett and Pierce for Etienne, Lockett and Pierce for I mean, I'd even go after Hall using Lockett or using Pierce, or Puka and Pierce for an Etienne, or maybe a Hurt Eckler. Hurt Eckler might do wonders for you in this team. You go trade it, you're 2-1, you can wait on him. You could definitely wait on JT, you can wait on Kamara. Those are the best, those are your best friends using Kamara, JT, Eckler. You can wait. You're 2-1. You can come in swinging. You're trading away Pierce and Puka to get something like that done. You're trading away Lockett, Puka, and Pierce to get potentially a JT and a player that nobody likes that I still think has upside, like a JSN type of player. That would be the moves for you, I think, to make in order to come back and smash. And not come back, you're 2-1. But definitely think that would be a move for you. Sutton plus Cook for Pierce or JT. First of all, Pierce and JT are miles apart, so that's like saying Sutton and Cook for a $5 bill or Sutton and Cook for a $20 bill. So, of course, I'm going to tell you why I don't even want to talk Pierce. If you're going to talk JT, it makes that Pierce side look like garbage. So, the answer is JT. If you're talking Pierce, I'd rather probably have James Cook. If that's Dalvin Cook, then, of course, I would take Pierce over Dalvin. Bijan Kamara owner, okay. That's an easy move, though, for JT. JT wins leagues at that value, and if he doesn't, then you don't even – it's not like you lose your league because of the trade. I'm 0-3, Lawrence, ETN, Walker, Waddle, McLaurin, Garrett Wilson, Brees, Puka, Madison, JSN, Saquon, Goddard, Sharps, Gainwell. What players should I try and trade for help? Honestly, as much as you're worried about T-Law, I'm not as worried about T-Law as I would be worried about potentially trying to fill, let's say, a wide receiver 2 spot or a wide receiver 3 spot. I mean, Puka's nice. Waddle's nice, but he's been injured. Walker and ETN are fine. This is a good enough team to survive, but I keep throwing out JT and Kamara and ETN as fantastic go-gets for a reason. I like that you have ETN already, but Eckler, Kamara, and JT are this kind of team's friend. And I just think that while it's scary to go and get JT when you're 0-3, Kamara isn't as scary. And if you could trade Waddle for like a Kamara and Christian Watson, I'm taking that. The fact that you got Saquon down here, I didn't even see that until right now. Saquon, you're pretty well off. Puka and you got Brees and you're fine. You're fine. I still think JT would do you some good. Would I trade here's the move. Saquon for JT or Kamara and a wide receiver. If they've got a Christian Watson type, you trade Saquon for the JT or Kamara with Christian Watson or whatever wide receiver comparable they have. JT Kamara is still the target for me. Gibbs and a similar type of player potentially for maybe Saquon. Saquon for Ridley might be the move here. You roll with ETN and Walker. Saquon for Ridley. Saquon for Olave. Saquon for Devontae Smith and something. Those might be the moves for you. This is a really good team, though. You just got a lot of talent that's not on the field right now. And you're going to be fine. But stacking some of it together for another player isn't a bad idea. Love, Gibbs, London for T-Law, Kamara, Watson. Love, Gibbs, London for T-Law. That's pretty close. Love, Gibbs. I'd rather have Kamara over Gibbs. I'd rather have Love over T-Law. So it's like wash there. And I'd rather have Watson over London. So I guess all in all, I'd rather have the T-Law, Kamara, Watson side. But that's really, really close. I wonder if you could leave out the T-Law and Love part somehow. If you had like a Nico Collins, you could throw into the mix or something. All right, phone lines for 30 seconds only. Dial into the show. Appreciate you.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Brought to you by Texas Red. If anybody drops a $300 super chat or higher than his $299.99, so 301, 300, you will become the presented by follower of the month. So knock off Texas Red from the phone line and have this phone line be your phone line. And I'm going to start doing a better job of announcing the phone line is presented by because Texas Red deserves to have his name read out when people calling into the phone line. And so let's try that out. Let's exercise that right now. 956 caller, you're live. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Houston, Texas.
What's up, James Arthur? What can I do for you from Houston, Texas, James Arthur?
Hey, so I got blessed with drafting Tua and Mostert this year, and I have Josh Allen and Bijan as those other top-tier guys at those positions. And I'm trying to trade them both or trade one of them. And am I asking for too much? Asking for Christian McCaffrey from the guy for Tua and Mostert?
Christian McCaffrey for Tua and Mostert.
Too much?
Can I get the mouth breathers? I don't know if that's Ninja or if that's Kenwar, but can I get the mouth breathers to just mute real quick while I help out? Is it, what was your name again? Arthur what?
James Arthur.
James Arthur from Texas?
Yes, sir. Houston, Texas.
James Arthur from Texas. All right. Thank you guys for muting. I normally I don't mind, but it sounded like mouth breathing with the wind. It was like a combo. Tua and Mostert for CMC. If that, and you said that cube that CMC.
Am I reaching for the moon there? Like,
is
that even possible?
You are, but what's their quarterback situation? You said.
Well, my other QB is Josh Allen, and this guy, his quarterback is Baker Mayfield. We're in a 14-man league, so it's like super deep.
So it's Josh Allen and who? It's a super flex, you said? I'm sorry, I had 10 things going on.
No, it's not super flex. It's just one.
And he's got Josh Allen?
No, I have Josh.
Oh, you
Allen.
Josh Allen. But who's his quarterback? I'm sorry, I was looking at the chat. I'm sorry. This is bad service.
He started Baker Mayfield this week.
No, you're not reaching for the moon, bro. I'm sorry I wasn't paying attention because I like. It's not that I'm not paying attention. It's just I had like 5 things going on in the chat, and then I had to deal with this in my system. So my bad. It's horrible service. I don't think you're reaching for the moon. I would just say like, yeah. I mean, I don't think that's crazy, bro. I think that you have Josh Allen, you've got Tua, you got to take advantage of this. Maybe you got to throw in another little player like Nico or, even Adele. I love Dell, but like of course you do. You watch the show. But I mean, you throw in a Tank Dell and get CMC. It's kind of nice. I don't know. I definitely think. Did someone drop it? Someone say they dropped a big wad. I don't see it. Somebody. That's what I was looking over. Some Tater Toddy was saying $304 hauler. I didn't see that come through or something, but I stopped for a minute and I looked for it. Maybe he's just saying somebody drop a $304 hauler. I thought somebody said that he dropped it. I didn't see anything come through. Anyway, yeah, bro, try for it. If you got to add a little bit more, add in a little more. You got this, bro. You got this.
All right, thank you, Smitty.
Yeah, sorry about the delay on that. I was totally distracted.
No worries.
Poor guy. Thank you. Calling again. Travis says, trade Achane for JT. I'd rather have JT. Achane for Diggs. I'd rather have Diggs. For Kelsey, I'd rather have Kelsey. So Achane can get you any of that. You smash it. You do it live. $20 hauler from Robert coming in strong. Robert, my main man, Robert.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Robert, coming in strong. Robert, appreciate you. Robert's super chat is as follows. Smitty wanted to clear something up. I never drafted all the Moonmen. I had them in my queue. I had the first pick, and when it was my turn to draft, something happened, and I got stuck with all the Moonmen. No, and Robert, I wasn't trying to like say you were doing it necessarily. I just have had a lot of people show me their teams, and when I see like Moonmen across the board. So Robert, I appreciate you coming in to clarify that, and I'm not saying that you did a bad job drafting at all, and I'm not even saying that the Moonmen won't come around and be that good. They certainly could. I want you to know that, okay? They certainly could, but it does oftentimes count for a slow start if we're using only high upside bold prediction breakouts as our draft pieces. But I see a lot of people that have just Moonmen on their squad. I'm like, this leaves no room for any sort of slow start. You know what I mean? And Okonkwo was like a high swing, on a bad offense. And so like, I'm pissed that he even took a spot up like at this point, because I knew better. Tennessee is horrible. I'd come out here and trash Tennessee over and over, but they had so many design plays for Okonkwo the year prior. I just thought they're going to get him the football and he's going to be one of those players that just gets overfed. Like Hunter Henry's getting fed in New England. Like I thought for sure it was going to go down that way, at least. to a degree, and it's not. Maybe it changes. Maybe Okonkwo does really well at the end of the year. There's still a lot of room for these guys to improve. The problem is when you saturate your team with moon men, which again, I wasn't talking specifically to you, pal. I appreciate you super chatting. You're such a generous man. Coming in for a point of clarification, and he drops a $20 hauler. Absolute monster. Okay, let's go over to Draven from Kentucky. Draven, you have 30 seconds. Go.
Yes, so I'm coach-blooded, and you told me I need to try to get a wide receiver. He has Devontae Adams, but for me, he wanted Mahomes, Kenneth Walker, and Waddle. And I think that's way too much. And should I just go with Tank Dell and Waddle to be my top wide receivers for the rest of the year?
Give me the trade offer one more time. I got your team up. He wanted what? He wanted what for what?
Devontae Adams for Patrick Mahomes, Kenneth Walker, and Waddle.
Devontae Adams for Patrick Mahomes, Kenneth Walker, and Waddle?
Yes, man.
Yeah, Devontae. No, yeah, you're not getting even close to enough. Yeah, like Kenneth Walker versus Devontae Adams is arguable. Like alone, you know?
Right.
Yeah, like he wasn't giving you anything else. He was just giving you. Let me get this off the screen.
And then Justin Jefferson, the
trying
guy
to screw
that
you.
owns him, didn't want to move. So I was thinking I could just get Tank Dell and just put him as my wide receiver one.
Yeah,
and
well,
have
I mean, you don't have to end it there, but you certainly don't give up Walker, Mahomes, and all of that for just Devontae Adams. You know, Devontae Adams doesn't come with this week 3 performance. You know, that's so funny when people just try and like off of a huge week try and get somebody to give him the world. Like Kenneth Walker did pretty well too. Does he know that? You gonna take Mahomes from him? Come on, bro.
So what do you think I should do? Keep trying?
Well, I try and trade Mixon high off the touchdown game. I don't think Mixon. I don't feel like Mixon was. I feel like he got lucky by the touchdown. I think he kind of skated by on this one. I think he was set up to have a very bad game. Burrow could just as easily tossed a missile into the end zone. So I definitely feel like I would sell high on Mixon. Mixon and T. Higgins for a Pollard. Mixon for a freaking Gibbs and another player. Mixon for I mean, bro, you once JT Kamara and Waddle come back, you're gonna be money. So I'm just trying to trade Mixon and T. Higgins for one player. And the fact that you're gonna have Walker and JT and Kamara, you go after a wide receiver. Mixon and T. Higgins for, I mean, can't you swing for a Diggs or I mean, St. Brown? Can't you swing for somebody that high using Mixon and T. Higgins? That's an overpay in some sense to go get like a St. Brown to some people. I think
they just want me to pay a lot because I'm 0-3 and they know that I need it. And
yeah, but they
just want me to give up my whole team.
Yeah, but you got so much coming back. You can't do that. But you should be able to find one person. You could overpay for a Ridley. And maybe nobody else would want to give Mixon and Higgins for Ridley. I'm not saying that's necessarily a great move straight up. I try and get somebody else. You could give up Mixon for Cooper Kupp, and then just have this world beating team, bro. Like in Waddle, JT, Kamara, and Kupp coming back. And you'd be so scary. You could have looked at it like just a big bunch of fun. Like this team is just you're 0-3. Why not just go? Why not trade Mixon for Kupp and just ride it out, bro?
I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it.
I don't know. Am I wrong? Can anybody tell me if I'm crazy to want to do that for him? I mean, he's got JT, Kamara, and Walker. He's gonna be fine in RB, and the fact that he has Waddle, and I don't know, it could be crazy. It could be crazy. Does anybody think that?
I appreciate you, Smitty.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that, though.
Well, hold on. Let's see what the chat thinks. Maybe I'm getting... It's late. You know how you get some of those late ideas like Jerry Maguire? late at night. Let's just make sure I'm not. Ramos says he likes it. Buy Cup for sure. Yeah. Hey, I'm getting support in the chat. You could even give up a little something else like Mike Thomas. You could give up maybe. I mean, you could even trade Zach Moss instead of Mixon. Go trade Mixon for Breece Hall or Gibbs alone, and you could trade Zach Moss and Higgins. You could trade Mixon and maybe this guy that has Cooper Kupp needs running backs, bro. Trade him Zach Moss and Mixon and keep Higgins. You know, there's a lot of options for you there. All right, hey.
How about Tank Dell?
Well,
Is he not going to be a top wide receiver?
I mean,
Tank Dell?
I like him. He's a great wide receiver 3 that can play like a wide receiver 2, but he's not. We're not putting him as a wide receiver 1 yet. No. We love him. We love him. We own him. We pick him up. Yeah. All right. Later, bro. Draven, appreciate you. All right. Hold on. Let me get these super chats out of the way. Phone line. Just hang tight for me, please. Appreciate you. Keep the mouth breathing to a minimum if possible. Vampy says, what are we doing with Dotson? I mean, it depends on the waiver wire. If it's Achane and Dell, and obviously we're grabbing those guys. But are we dropping them for Zeke Elliott? I don't know. It depends if you needed a running back. Are we dropping them for? Let me look at the waiver wire list real quick. Are we dropping? Let's say, dropping Dotson for Palmer? Probably not. And I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, why not? Palmer's going to be great." Palmer might be good, but he's also, had a chance before. And like we talked about on the phone line, Guyton's still potentially, I think he's on the team. Guyton might not even. Is Guyton there? Would I drop Dotson for Thielen? I mean, maybe for a Kendre Miller with Kamara coming back. I mean, if I had Kendre Miller or Kamara, maybe, but I don't know. It just depends. I mean, that's a really, really tough question. Thank you, Vampy. Appreciate you. Professor Patty coming in with a $5 hauler. AR, Bijan, Kamara, Adam, Smitty. That's Devontae Smith. Hawkinson, Puka, benches Pickens, Sutton, Algier, Dalvin, 12-man league. Is Sutton plus Hollywood for JTOW? Yeah. I don't think you're getting that. If you get that, though, Patty, I want you to come right back in here. Let us know so we can do a standing mashed potato ovation and a moonshot. Because if you land that Hollywood and Sutton for JT, like if you escape the veto police, that's league winning by leaps and bounds above anything we've seen all night long. Appreciate you. Seattle, Achane and Tank Dell are both on the wire in 2 of my leagues, just deciding dropping Khalil Sutton and Dylan Ayuk. No, don't drop Ayuk. Don't drop Ayuk. Don't drop Addison either. Maybe that's your best drop. I don't know, but Ayuk is not a drop. He's a wide receiver 2. Some will still say he's a wide receiver 3, but Ayuk came out just on a terror, bro. And I know he was injured and didn't exactly go nuts this week, but in week 1 he came out as a wide receiver, like low-end wide receiver 1 to high-end wide receiver 2 to a lot of people, and he's since fallen in value to the tune where you're even thinking of dropping him. But Addison and Ayuk I can't drop, but I just need to know who the other drop is. But I'm certainly dropping Khalil and Sutton and Dylan. So I just want to make that clear. All right, let's hit over to the phone line, and let's go over to Ninja. Ninja, you have 30 seconds, my buddy, my pal.
What's good, yo? So for week 4, would you play Tank Dell or Tyler Lockett? And I want to try to get Elliott. Who would you drop? A.J. Dillon, Roshan Johnson, or Tajay Spears?
Tank Dell, and then I'm probably dropping Dillon, who did nothing when he was given an opportunity. So what in the hell is he going to do with Aaron Jones back?
I had to play him. He only got me 3 points.
Yeah, he's a trash. Maybe that'll kickstart him. Maybe me calling him trash is going to make him play amazingly. I don't know. But Tank Dell.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, Ninja. Appreciate you. Kenwar, 30 seconds. Go.
I appreciate all that you do. I'm in a league. It's a strange league I've never been in before. When you win, you end up stealing a player from the team that you just beat. So
I love that.
So tell me, who can I steal? Jerome Ford, Jameer Gibbs, DK Metcalf.
Hold on. Let's take Charles. Charles, this is an old super chat, but I just want to say thanks to Charles. Charles is such an amazing supporter. Charles, you are amazing. All right, Kenwar, give me the players one more time. We got to write this down. Go.
So it's position for position steal. I got to give up on the same position. So my options are, I can steal one of these: Jerome Ford, Jameer Gibbs, DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman.
That's easy. C. Watt as well?
Yeah.
Who do you have to... so I would take Gibbs, personally. I mean, Watson's tempting, but I still believe in Gibbs. He had 4.7 yards per carry. His talent hasn't changed. His team using him weirdly is still a threat. But easy call for me, personally. I think DK's very interesting. Watson's very interesting. But I do like that. I would take Gibbs personally. I still think Gibbs can be a league winner. Now, if you want safety, if you're hurting at wide receiver, like read off your starting lineup real quick, because maybe I'll change my mind to DK.
So I got A.J. Brown, Debo, Gabe Davis, Romeo Doubs, Brandon Cooks as my wide receivers.
Okay, you might need DK.
And my RBs, so if I steal Gibbs, I got to give up one of these RBs. I got Kenneth Walker, Damian Pierce, David Montgomery, Achane. That's it.
I think you're kind of weak in both positions, so both of these are going to help you. What do you guys think in the chat? You think he goes after DK for the steady Eddie move, or does he go for Gibbs? So if the chat could vote for Kenwar, I'd appreciate it. Kenwar, keep tabs on the chat. I think you could lean.
I'm thinking give up Damian Pierce and get Gibbs, or give up KJ Osborne, which is easy to give up, and grab either Christian Watson or DK Metcalf.
Yeah. Probably DK, Monty for Gibbs. Gibbs. It would suck to trade Monty for Gibbs and Monty come back and play way better than Gibbs. That would suck.
I mean, I can give up Pierce for Gibbs, and this way I have Gibbs and
that might be
Monty.
smarter. I just think Pierce is a shot. Monty's still decent though. Man, DK would be. You have Osborne. You said you'd easily give him up.
Yeah. Any sense holding on to Treylon Burks?
Nah, I'm not worried about Burks. I would say this, Kenwar, if you want to risk it for the biscuit and you're okay with it busting on you, and you're not going to be like a upset Unger about it, and be like moping around, and you're no use to the household, you're not doing the dishes at night anymore, you don't take the trash out, your wife's mad at you, you're sleeping on the couch. Like, if this affects you like that, go DK. and drop Osborne.
I do all of that, but
you do. Then go DK, because at least you're getting good value out of DK. You're not going to necessarily get what Gibbs could become, but let's be honest. If Gibbs was producing DK volume, we're probably happy with that from Gibbs too, right? So I'd say if you're moping around like that, if you're admitting that, and there's no shame in that. Some people take this really hard. Go DK.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So I do have A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuel, so that's why I was thinking solidify my RBs and get Gibbs. But DK is juicy. I can't ignore him.
Yeah. I think it's safest, bro.
I
assessed you, and I feel like you're gonna, if Gibbs doesn't do it, you're gonna be pretty upset. Like, at least what DK is providing you.
I got good shares of Gibbs in my other league.
That's even more of a reason. Okay, all right. Appreciate you, Kenwar. Later, pal.
All right, Smitty.
All right, Mike from Houston. You have 30 seconds. My main man. Go.
Hey. All right, appreciate it, Smitty. All right, so currently I'm 1-2. I was wondering if the people on my team, if you think I should hold them or just trade to make my team a little bit better. And right now I have Mahomes, Pollard, Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Cole Kmet, Devontae Smith, and those are my starters.
You
I
have
traded.
Hill,
What were you saying?
you have Gibbs, Pollard, Mahomes.
Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith.
Yeah, you
My
keep
starting
that.
lineup.
You keep that team, bro. That team is fire.
Okay.
I mean,
I was kind of concerned about Gibbs because I really don't have any running backs.
yeah, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do without dismantling another part of this really well balanced team? I mean, you could say, let me get rid of one of these guys because they might rotate. So you get rid of Gibbs and AJB or Gibbs and Devontae Smith, and you get like a JT and Christian Watson. You know, like go to the Camaro owner, go to the JT owner, and I guess see what they got at wide receiver. But past that, kind of hard to move. You know, I like it, bro.
Yeah,
Gibbs is your weak link. Like that's fun. I'm trying to acquire Gibbs.
You don't think I should? Right.
You don't think I should? You should what?
My bad, what were you saying?
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, you don't think I should move Devontae and AJ because like they eat at each other?
Well, that's what I just said. I said like you could get rid of these two because they're rotating, but I mean, they're both phenomenal, bro. I think like it depends. I mean, can you get Ridley for one of them? Like I buy low on Ridley. Olave, St. Brown, Cooper Kupp, and a Christian Watson like type of combo for one. Like if someone's getting desperate. Debo's off the table now. Chase is off the table now. Yeah, I mean, this is a great team. What's your record?
I'm 1-2 right now.
Yeah, you're fine, bro. Entertain those,
Yeah,
but that's it. Entertain those. That's it, though. Achane on waivers?
Yeah, Achane is on waivers.
You better full load drop that.
All right, for sure. Yeah, I'll be up for. I'll be the first one.
Is it a rolling waiver or is it blind bid?
It's waiver, so it's like it's depending off record and
what's
whoever gets claimed first.
what's the number one waiver claim person have on their team?
Number one. So who they have on their squad?
Yeah, do they have like a Ridley by chance?
No, they don't have Ridley. They don't.
Who they have?
They have like Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Tutu Atwell.
What about it?
And they have Ramondre Stevenson and James Cook.
Yeah, I mean you could trade like I don't know. I was gonna say you could trade like Devontae Smith for DK and the pick, you know, but I don't even know if I want to do that. But it's just an idea,
right.
like you know, to get Achane in the mix. But bro, your team's fire. I wouldn't touch it. You're good to go. All right, hey, call back tomorrow when we're. Is this Mike? This is Mike, right? All right, Mike later. All right, if Redwood and Niner Rick would mute themselves and turn the show background down, Mike from Houston, appreciate you. Andres, you got 30 seconds, pal. You're live, broski.
What's up, Smitty?
What's up?
I'm kind of conflicted because I'm dropping probably AJ Dillon and I might drop JSN, bro, because on waivers I do have Achane, so I'm definitely dropping AJ Dillon for him. But I guess my question would be, I have Christian Watson on IR. I might have to drop Roschon Johnson, and my wide receivers available on waivers is currently Adam Thielen, Tank Dell, and Chark Jr. Mims is available too. I guess what wide receiver would you drop for JSN?
Name their wide receivers one more time.
Wide receivers is Thielen, Tank Dell, and then we got Chark.
You're not dropping You're not dropping Tank Dell, bro. He's like the number one wide receiver to pick up this week.
No. So you're saying pick up Tank Dell over Thielen? Because I'm dropping JSN from my team to pick up one of these guys.
Oh, yeah. Chark.
I have JSN currently on my team, and I have to drop him because I'm at the wide receiver limit at this point.
Chark, bro.
So,
I mean, Chark's like, look, Chark did okay, but like Chark, that's easy.
yeah, because I kind of like Thielen more than Chark if I were to pick him off the waivers. So I guess my question is, do I pick up Thielen or Tank Dell? 'Cause I'm not picking up Dobbs. I have Christian
Bro,
Watson
Tank Dell again.
already.
Tank Dell's the number one wide receiver to pick up this week.
I got you.
Yeah,
got
I mean,
you.
I
Just,
mean,
wanna make sure 'cause
trust your
Thielen's
gut.
on
Trust
me.
your gut, but like, hold on a second. This goes out to you. Don't take offense to this, bro. I need you to have thick skin in this moment in time. Okay, hold on.
Fantasy owner that wants you to actually say yes or no, even if you've clearly made your point.
Wire decent. So
Yeah,
my
Tank
fault.
Dell's my favorite. Do you think I should take Thielen or Tank Dell? I'm just kidding with you, bro. But you're double down donning me right now. You're double down donning me.
I just want to make sure you understand.
A double down Donnie is a fantasy owner that wants you to actually say yes or no, even if you've clearly made your point.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Don't
man.
take offense. Don't take offense to that.
like.
I do that to Miss Smitty. The reason I have so much fun with that, especially that clip, is I do it to Miss Smitty all day long. You know, especially with expiration dates in the fridge. I need her to say it. Like, what's the expiration date say? Well, the meat goes bad next week, and she doesn't want to give me an answer because she drives her nuts. So she'll go, well, there you go, and I'll go, so you're saying I can eat the turkey? Didn't you just read the expiration date? I'm a double down Donnie with food, bro, all day long. All right, hey, appreciate you, bro. We'll see you later, Andres.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
This is Andres, right?
Yes, sir.
right.
I'm gonna need some trade offers because I need to
right.
potentially make some trades, make some
All right.
moves on 1 and 2. But
Later, bro.
I'll talk to you later about that.
All right, later. Lewis with a super chat, $5 hauler. I'm 0-3 in a 10-man with Fields, Purdy, Bijan, Gibbs, Kamara, Kelly, Achane, Debo, Addison, Terry, JSN, and I traded Garrett Wilson for Watson. I don't mind that at all. Look, Christian Watson, I'm going to have a show today or tomorrow. I'm going to put it on here on acquiring Watson. What to do with Hall, what to do with Gibbs, what to do with Wilson. And one of the options is going to be Christian Watson. You can like it, you can hate it, you can do whatever you want, but we're heading that direction. That show is coming, so get ready for it. Vampy with a $5 hauler, like an absolute monster that he is. Vampy, how's your knee going? Every time I ask that question, I never see a response because the chat has 3,000 messages. We've had 3,000 messages go through the chat tonight. We've been live for 3 hours and 7 minutes. Hold on. This is a double down Donnie calling, I think. 505 caller. I'm going to have to put you on hold, but where are you calling from and what's your name, pal?
I'm the guy who had the AFK in that super chat the other
Oh,
day.
Joey. Okay, where are you calling from, Joey?
I'm from LA.
From LA. Joey, a.k.a. AFK from LA. That's your name. Okay, hold on. Mute for us. MU. MU. Joey?
Yeah.
MU. Yeah. Mute for us, bro. MFU, bro. Come on. No, I know, but hold on. I'm coming to you. There's a line of people. I'm just telling you to mute real quick, and I'm trying to abbreviate things for you. All right, hold on. Mute for us. MFU, bro. MFU. This, for anybody that doesn't know, he told me to AFK the other night, away from keyboard. I didn't know what that was. Look, I game a little bit too. on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, so there's no keyboard. It's AFC, away from controller. For me. So anyway, all right. Vampy says trade Swift plus CD for Love, or sorry, Swift plus CD plus Love or Dell. Love or Dell, I guess. So Swift CD and Love, or Swift CD and Dell, or Watson. That's a crazy combination here to put in my mind for Chase and JT. So the answer is yes. I'm trying to keep Christian Watson, even though I love Dell. If you've already got a solid quarterback, then I probably want to give up Love. But I would take that trade. I'd take Jamar Chase and JT. My QB's Josh Allen. I'm 1 and 2. Yeah, I would give up the Love part because then it doesn't affect lineup pieces. But CD, Swift, and Love for Chase and JT, I would take that trade. That's a good trade, Vamp. That's a tough one, though. I mean, there's some pros and cons to that. All right, hang tight, Joey. Hang tight, River. I'm coming for you guys. Matt from Michigan, you got 30 seconds. I got to stay strict to the time because we got a lot of people on hold to go. Matt?
All right, yeah. Should I trade Trevor Lawrence and Higgins for Burrow and Brian Robinson?
Trevor Lawrence and Higgins for Burrow and Brian Robinson. I guess it depends on if you need RBs, but I don't know that I believe in Brian Robinson like everybody else. I don't know. What did Brian Robinson finish with?
He's a RB like 6 right.
I know.
Right now, or this week he had a shitty game. He had like 7 points.
I know, but RB6, like my grandma's RB6 right now, and she's not even playing, so it's tough.
Yeah.
But 70 yards, 7 yards a pop was nice. 4.83 the week before, 3.11 the week before. The crazy part is he's got 19 carries, 18 carries, and 10 carries. But the targets aren't huge. Even though he had 2 catches for 42 yards in week 2 is kind of an anomaly because he had 1 reception for 7 yards in week 1 and 0. I'm going to say it one more time.
All right, trade Trevor Lawrence and T. Higgins for Burrow and
no
and Robinson.
I'm going to say no. I could be wrong. If anybody loves Brian Robinson, they can go ahead and say in the chat, and maybe you can get some other opinions because I think it's close enough to take a bunch of opinions over just mine, to be frank, on this one because it's so close. I'm a little indifferent, but I just think that I don't know how Burrow is going to be on the year. And I don't know. I do believe T. Law is going to rebound. I do believe T. Law is going to rebound. And I do believe T. Higgins is still going to be tradable. I think he dropped passes. He was trashed tonight. T. Higgins dropped. He's 0 points in week 1, and then he just completely just botched the whole night tonight. But I don't know.
All right, man. Thanks.
But hey, look to the chat because they're a little bit mixed. You could switch. Like, the thing is, I'm excited about Burrow, but we saw Burrow play very well, and he didn't score any points. You know what I mean? Like, if you were watching the game and let's say you didn't play fantasy, you were impressed by Burrow tonight, and he played like Troy Aikman of the past. I don't know if anybody played fantasy in the chat back when Troy Aikman played. I did, and Troy Aikman was a great quarterback, and he sucked at fantasy football. And I'm not saying Burrow is going to be that. I'm just saying with his calf right now, he played very well, won the game, and so I'm just a little concerned that that Trevor Lawrence is going to outperform him for a little while.
Well,
I buy low on him too. It's confusing, but what?
I also have Justin Fields too.
Yeah, I would keep Trevor Lawrence, bro, and then try and trade T. Higgins on the high soon, okay?
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Matt from Michigan. All right, hang tight, callers. I got to do these super chats as we go, so I don't get behind and I can continue to do phone calls. So hang tight, no mouth breathing. Hang on. PPR 3-0. Tua, Walker, Connor, Ridley, Lockett, Hawkinson, Achane, Flex, bench, Garrett Wilson, Dotson, Algier, Hunt, Reynolds. They need better wide receivers. Well, Tua, Walker, Connor, Ridley is pretty darn good with Hawkinson, bro. And Achane coming in strong. Garrett Wilson ain't half bad. Ridley, Lockett, and Garrett Wilson are not half bad. I know you feel like it's awful, but in order to make any moves, you almost have to trade like Connor on the high, which isn't a horrible idea, but it's also not a bad idea to keep him. He's playing really well. And I didn't think he'd be playing as well as he has. I'm admitting that. But I don't know. I guess I would on the off chance he gets injured and he's doing too much. Maybe I would consider trading Connor. But if you do that, who's your RB, Achane, and Walker? That's not bad. It's risky, but maybe you could trade Connor and freaking Hunt. Connor and Hunt, Connor and Dotson, Connor and Zay Jones, Connor and Reynolds, Connor and whatever. Keep Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver too, and then you'll feel more comfortable about that. But maybe you get a Ridley using Connor. I wouldn't be shocked in this running back climate right now where people are just crumbling at the running back position. We don't even know. I don't even think any of you could name 10 running backs right now that are clearly in your top 10. You'd stop at 5 or 6 and go, shit, there's nobody left. So Connor for Ridley probably is very doable. And I don't know. I feel like that might be better for your team. You're 3-0. Connor for JT or Kamara as well. Easy. Smitty, your thoughts on Josh Downs? Look, he probably should be on the waiver list as well. He got a tremendous amount of targets in this game. So, you know what? Good on you to bring that up. Downs needs to be brought up. I don't know how he'll do. Keep in mind he's catching passes from Gardner. And so, we don't really know. But I think he definitely deserves to be on this list. So thank you for bringing him up. I was saying earlier that people should call out a guy that's not on this list because I did this on the fly. I believe I didn't miss anybody big. If anybody thinks I missed anybody big, yell at me. And we'll try and... Kirk over Ridley, Manny says, I wish you has a little more weight to it. And I would still be trying to trade Andrews for Gibbs or Swift. Add something in with Andrews to get Swift. But keep Pollard. I don't like that trade all in all. All right, phone lines. Back to the phone lines. Appreciate you all for waiting. Now we're heading over to the Redwood. Drop it, Redwood.
Hey, how you doing, Smitty?
Good. Are you calling from the fax machine again?
Do I sound bad with the
Hey, we like it. Don't change it. We like it the way you are, bro. Be who you are. You're Redwood from the fax line. Go ahead.
So, all right. So, can I get the whiteboard treatment today? I kept it short and simple.
Yeah, if we can hear you, sure. You're fine. Okay, hit me with it. Whiteboard, let's go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna do it like this then. So, I'm 3-0 right now. Quarterback, I've been using Dak Prescott. Okay, so here's my team. Quarterback, Dak Prescott. I have CJ Stroud on the bench right now. JJ, Keenan Allen, ETN, Gibbs, Ingram for tight end, Swift on the flex, and then on the bench I have McLaurin, Wilson, that's Garrett Wilson, Miles Sanders, DJ Moore, Dalton Kincaid, and I already said CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I think I might have missed. Yeah, I might have missed one, but go ahead.
So I'm 3-0 right now. My only concern really right now has been like quarterback. But do you think I'm good with like Prescott and Stroud?
No. I think it's about as good as your connection. But I do like Stroud as a backup. I love Stroud as a fill-in. I love Stroud as a. I don't know if I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's okay to. I definitely start him over Dak. But I don't know if I'm like thrilled about it. Like, do I think you're winning a championship with Stroud in there? Probably not. But at the same time, like, he's better than Dak. He's way better than Dak.
You think? Okay.
Yeah. Someone
said.
said.
I kind of regretted not playing him this week.
Someone says, "Where's Laporta on the waiver wire?" Laporta's not a waiver wire pick, bro. What kind of league you playing in? Yeah, but like, what do you got a lot of depth though? To go get like a T Law. To go get, and I know I said Burrows worries me for that other caller, but like, in your situation, buying.
The thing about my league is like I've been shooting offers like left and right. Like like decent offers that I kind of think I would regret, and they're not biting. So it's like, it's either like roll with Stroud, Geno Smith on the waivers too.
I pick up Geno for sure. He's definitely not the same Geno. He definitely started riding back this year, but I still probably pick him up. But yeah, for you, bro, you got the depth on your bench to maybe give up a Garrett Wilson and Stroud or Garrett Wilson and Dak to go get a struggling quarterback that has top 5 capability.
I offered my league mate Garrett Wilson for Jared Goff straight across, and they said no.
I wouldn't even want to do that. Goff's okay, but I'd rather start Stroud and have Garrett Wilson. So. All right, bro. Well, hey, keep trying. Use the bench players, Miles Sanders and Dak, Miles Sanders and Stroud. If I could get a T-Law, I'd bank on that. The fact that you're 3-0 is testament to the boys stepping up with Swift and ETN and Keenan Allen and JJ. You're doing really well there. Keep it up. Have faith in Gibbs to some degree.
I got Swift off the waivers last week because someone dropped him after that first game.
Oh, so you didn't even get to take advantage of it.
Right now, Achane and Tank Dell are on the waivers, and I'm number 4, so I'm going to put in waivers for both. I was going to drop Kincaid. You think that's smart?
For who? Kincaid for who?
For either I put Achane first and then Tank Dell second.
Yeah.
So I put both of them
for sure, bro. All right, try and move those guys for quarterback. All right, Redwood, you're over your 30 seconds. Later, pal. Appreciate you.
All right, later, man.
Redwood from the fax line. Niner Rick, Redwood took 2 of your seconds. You got 28 seconds. Go.
Yo, I lost by 0.32 this week. Can you help me make some moves or no? You got time?
You got 21 seconds. Let's go. Let's try it.
You can't whiteboard me?
Hurry, bro.
T-Law, Gibbs, Tyreek, A.J. Brown, Hawkinson, Madison.
Hold on. Tyreek. Okay. Hawkinson.
Did you get A.J. Brown?
Yep.
Madison.
Trash.
Joshua Kelly, Kyle Pitts.
Trash.
JSN, Charbonnet, Roshan, and Tutu.
2-2. Sharbs and Roshan. Okay. You don't have a lot to trade. Like, you're 0-3, you said?
No, I'm 1-2. I should be 2-1 though, man. I lost by 0.3 tonight.
Here's the thing, bro. You don't have much depth at all. So you have 2 moves. You have 3 moves to make. You can either trade away Tyreek, but you have to be smart about it. You cannot trade him away. Like, you're 1-2. Can you win with Tyreek? You got to ask yourself that question. And I can't go over all the teams in your league. You know what I mean? So only you can answer that question. Mm-hmm. So you got to look around the league and say, can I beat all these guys? And if the answer is yes, then don't change anything. But if you literally can't win, you can't win. You're looking at your RB2 is who?
I got T-Law and Gibbs. Gibbs and Madison.
Yeah, you got to start 2 of them.
Yeah, it's tough because I got Charbonnet and Roshan, but they haven't. Charbonnet can't do nothing with Walker there. I thought Kelly would do something while Eckler was out.
So you got to ask yourself, bro, can you win with this team? You got a tight end advantage. You got a wide receiver 1 advantage. You have a wide receiver 2 advantage. T-Law's got to step up big. Gibbs has got to explode. If you believe you can win with this team, we don't want Walker to get hurt or anything. Maybe Sharps does get some work enough to be like Algier good, like week 1 or something,
If I pick up another quarterback over T-Law,
I don't think you can afford to be. Pick up one, sure, but you can't afford to do a trade for one or anything. But yeah, like, who's on waiver wire?
For quarterbacks, they got Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, or C.J. Stroud would be my best 3.
Yeah, probably pick up C.J. Stroud and then just have him there. But you got to bank on T-Law bouncing back. You don't have a choice on that one. That's part of you need the luck of the draw here. If I'm you either take Hawkinson and turn him into 2 players or one really good running back option like JT Camara. And then you go rogue at tight end or commando, as we say. and then try not to trade Tyreek and see if you can fix it that way. And if you can't, you could do a similar trade Tyreek for 2 players, and you get somehow, some way a JT or Kamara, and you get a freaking Devontae Smith or something like that, and then you roll in with depth and you win by depth, by way of depth, bro. Those are your only moves. Got to go, Niner Rick. Appreciate you. Good luck. Keep us updated. Call in tomorrow. Later. Joey, you're live. This is Joey, a.k.a. AFK from the LA. What's up, pal?
Hey, Smitty. Yeah, lost this week because I started Fields over Love. So I just wanted to. Can you whiteboard me or no?
Yeah, but I told you to start Love.
Yeah, that's my fault. I woke up on the Sunday morning and I was just like, I don't know. I was contemplating it. I should always trust my gut because my gut feeling was Love. But anyway, my team is Fields.
No, you're not. No, your team's not. Your team's Love, Fields. Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Hey, well, I guess I'll go. Yeah, Love, Bijan, Walker, St. Brown, Ridley, Goddard,
Zay Brown.
St. Brown.
St. Brown. Okay.
Come on, Ron.
St. Brown. Okay. Who else?
Yep. Ridley, Goddard, Brees, and then I obviously got Charbonnet, behind Walker, in Algier as well. But I also have JSN, Watson. I have Kendra Miller on the bench this week just in case he was going to go off, but he didn't do anything. Yeah, I was just wondering what I should do because I'm concerned about Brees. I know he could end up doing good later in the season, but I feel like I'm not happy with Goddard. If I could get like a better tight end, I don't know what do you think I should do? What moves?
Well, I mean, I think your team is very good, bro. So freaking out is, I think, an overreaction. Hall is your weakest link, and that's actually fantastic. Do you sit him for Christian Watson if Watson plays? 100%. But you're going to have some options on the table for a midseason trade. Could you trade Hall for JT or Kamara? I would do that in a millisecond if you could throw in JSN, throw in Fields if that owner happens to need a quarterback, throw in another player that you may have not mentioned. Goddard and Hall to get a JT Kamara type player would also be amazing because Goddard, at least looked okay tonight. I forget what he finished with. There was just there wasn't like a huge stat line, I think, but what was his total? Goddard got there's a time where he looked like he was getting efficient. 5 for 41. So showed signs of life at least, and you never know, the tight end pool is so weak. Somebody might be really attracted to that Goddard Hall package, and then you get JT who's out another week and they can't afford it. They're 0-3, and you just put your balls on the line on this one. But that's the kind of move you could make, and Christian Watson, goes in your lineup anyway. Until then, so I don't know. That's the only move to make here. Love's your starter. Your team's very good. Bijan's going to be fine. You can't sell him high. Walker, I'd only sell Walker if I'm getting
I have Richardson too. I actually forgot to mention that as well. I have him as well. So do you think I should trade Love and maybe get Swift? Because I traded Swift for Brees in week 1. And
yes,
I'm kind of
if you got Richardson at quarterback, then yeah, Love for Swift, easy.
Yeah. I mean, I've also made some mistakes dropping Pittman in week 1. I overreacted.
But also keep in mind, you could wait a week, let Love explode, let Richardson explode, and then you don't have to force a lesser trade now. Wait 1 week and let the market value go up for both quarterbacks. So try and do what I was saying. Yeah. If not, hold.
Yeah.
All right. Later, bro.
Later.
All right. Next up is Rax Poker. You got 30 seconds, pal.
Oh, damn. I was just... Okay, maybe I'll just send a super chat. I need some trade ideas.
You know what? You super chat all the time, Rax Poker. I'll give you an advance on this one. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I need a trade idea. I don't know what to do, if I should just stay pat or not, but my team's pretty stacked. I got a Trevor Lawrence, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Calvin Ridley, Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's double flex too. I got Kyle Pitts, Debo Samuel.
Can we hold on 1 second? Hold on 1 second. Can I just say something here?
Yeah.
I just want to go over one quick thing. These are all moon men. All moon men. And I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just trying to point out something here. This guy's got all moon men, practically. Debo, moon man, but he's playing amazing. St. Brown, moon man, playing amazing. Ridley was, and he had a bad week 3. I know people are really upset at him, but I still think we can all agree he's capable of being amazing moving forward. Walker, playing out of his mind. Bijan was amazing. 1 week later, everybody's like worried about him and all that. And let me just say, like, even drafting all moon men, your team is phenomenal. And I'm not even worried about it. You got Puka to boot because you've been working the wire like a monster. I think T-Law will bounce back. But I'm just trying to point out something like, again, you draft a bunch of moon man, 1 or 2 things happen badly, and the whole thing feels like it's crashing. But this team is full of moon men, and it's a fantastic team. So I just want to point that out. And are you 0-3 or 1-2? What did you say you were?
I'm 2-1, but my bench is. I feel like I should try to upgrade maybe because T-Law's my only quarterback. So I got like Achane on the bench, Tank Dell on the bench. I got Kincaid on the bench, Dawson, Sharp, McKinnon. Like, do I just keep this team, or should I try to upgrade a quarterback, or am I just?
I mean, I don't think unless you're going to take like T-Law and Puka and turn it into Jalen Hurts on the cheap or something like that, I don't think I move anything because I don't want to trade Debo. I don't want to trade Ridley. I don't want to trade St. Brown. I don't want to trade Walker. I don't want to trade Bijan. Your only option is, if you want to upgrade quarterback, is to move Puka or a bench player. But I just wanted to like say that this team is really good. It's really good, and it's comprised of moon men. And as I was saying, I don't think, minus Puka, I think every one of these players is a moon man. Every single one of them is a moon man, but Puka. So like you still have a good team doing that. And earlier me saying don't draft all moon men. I'm not saying that it's a like stupid idea. I'm just saying you have to be prepared for it to crash and burn for a couple weeks if anything goes wrong, because they're all upside guys. You're buying guys that have to explode. I really like this team a lot. This team looks fantastic. I believe enough in T-Law that I'm okay with this.
I do too. I mean, I did kind of. Is this a low ball offer? I offered Puka Nacua and Elijah Moore for JT. I don't know. Is that kind of like a low ball offer? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. Could end a friendship maybe, but it's still like worth trying, because if you don't do it, someone else might, and then he might add to it. Or if you think you're gonna run him off and he won't do any trade offers, but you know, Puka is somebody I would have sold high maybe this week versus.
I tried.
Yeah.
Last week. I don't know why people.
Yeah, I had him in the Marsman League, and I couldn't. No one was even coming for him. Not one person made a good, legitimate offer. I didn't even get lowball offers for Puka. It's so amazing how everybody.
Cooper Kupp comes back, and if Puka has a good game,
But what?
Kupp is there, I think
But everybody loves him.
great value will go up.
But why can't you get rid of him, and why can't I get rid of him? Why can't we even get good offers for him? Not even medium-sized offers for him when everybody's in love with him. Like, I don't understand it.
No, I got offered like Tyler Algier and like
I didn't even look. I would have slammed the door on that, but I didn't even get that. Nobody even lowball offered me for Puka, so it was crazy. I ended up trading him for Anthony Richardson because of my QB problems, and I'm feeling very good about that personally. But you know, it is what it is.
And who would you start? Anthony Richardson or Joe Burrow? I have him in my other league, and I love Joe Burrow. Everyone's capping on me right now because I traded Kirk Cousins. Remember, I traded Kirk Cousins and Pacheco for Burrow and JSN, which I thought I got over on him, but I'll just be getting a lot of flack for Joe Burrow now because they're just thanks for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, I don't know what to say on Burrow because like. The one thing I'll say, can I just say this too? I am suffering from a torn calf, and my calf's worse than Burrow's easily. I have a torn calf. He has what appears to be a strained calf, grade 1 tear, more strain than tear. My calf tear was so bad, I was limping for days. But can I tell you that I went walking? Like, I would walk. I would still go out walking. I'd have to walk around all the time. The day after I tore my calf, I was really bad the day after. Like, I was like grimacing. And Joe Burrow describes his calf pain as like soreness. Mine was like, it's torn. There's no way to describe a torn calf as sore. It's like, your only description is that thing's ripped. That sucker's ripped. Like, it wasn't sore. It was just pain beyond, beyond soreness. And 2-3 days after having, it has to be like a grade 2 because it continues to reoccur. I still can walk. I can still speed walk like 3 days after, and it's painful. Like, I feel it, but I could speed walk like 3 days after. And so Joe Burrow, I think, can still play. Like, there might be a point where he can't jog off the field. You saw it in the beginning. He would walk off the field. He'd walk off whenever he could. But there might be a point where he literally cannot run. He might have to like hobble, like to throw. But I think if they're winning, which tonight's win was the best thing that could have happened to Jamar Chase. We'll address Burrow later, and Burrow is definitely a piece of this puzzle, like, because a lot of you have him. But winning for the Bengals tonight was so important for Joe Burrow to tough it out versus have the team make a decision for him and say, we're going to sit you through the bye week. And if they lost, they might do that next week. The fact that they won means he's going to try and truck through it. And I'm telling you right now, it's possible with a torn calf to still continue played. It's possible with even a grade 2 if you wanted to. You're risking long-term potential reoccurrence with it and all that. You are. So I'm not saying there's not risk to it. But you technically could still play through it. You're just going to take a lot of sacks. You're going to hobble around. Think of Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and he still was able to quarterback. So, and like I said, even with the torn calf, 3-4 days in, I could still walk. It's painful, but I could still walk, and I still wanted to, like, because I couldn't run, I was like, I got to go walk or something. So I walk every day, even 3-4 days into the new fresh calf tear. I keep re-tearing it. I'm obviously not the model citizen for keeping it healthy, but my point is, I think Burrow's going to, if they're winning, weather through it. And so that's good for anybody that has him.
He looked decent.
The problem is, though, it ends up being like a low-scoring game unless he can figure out a way. So he's great. It's great for Chase. I just don't know if it's going to be great for Burrow all year. So that's my whole point of why I went on that tangent, is that, like, this is great news for Chase. Great news for Chase. He clearly is finding Chase. He's in a vulnerable spot. Chase is getting him bailed out. They're doing a lot of short passes to Chase too, get those PPR points up. So it's unbelievable. This win was so important for Jamar Chase to keep Joe Burrow playing injured. But I don't know what Joe Burrow is gonna, if he's ever going to this year, be consistently Joe Burrow that we wanted him to be. And that sucks.
I wish I could get better news. This is the first year I got Joe Burrow on my team, so I was like, hell, stoked to have him.
Yeah, but I'm not saying he won't rebound and become like a top 6, 7, 8 quarterback. He still could, but it's just
I'm hoping by fantasy playoff time, he'll be a lot better. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, today was better than yesterday. Tomorrow would be better than today, and hopefully he, the fact that he came out unscathed is really good. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it.
All right, later, Rex. I got to get to these. Hang tight. I got Matt. Please stay muted. Rock out. If you have something that's a little longer than 30 seconds, let me come back to you, unless you got something short. I just got to get these super chats out of the way real quick. But hang out, rock out real quick. I got an offer, my tank for Gibbs. I would take Gibbs over Tank Dell. And that's not to say I don't love Tank Dell. And that's not to say that if I needed a wide receiver and I was oversaturated with RBs that I would necessarily take it like that. But end of the day, I think I could turn Gibbs into something more, but that's just me. I have 2 trades on the table right now. First one is my Pat Freiermuth for London. I'll probably take London. Freiermuth scored, and I know he's looked okay, but the targets are still very low. It's a vanilla offense. I just would rather have the upside of London. Second is my Demont and Wilson, Pat Freiermuth for Ridley. That one I smash. I take Pierce over Javonte. I still have faith in him. I take Ridley. I take that deal. And I don't want to say I run because, it could work out on the other side, so I won't even hit the got him button. But give me the Ridley Pierce side. And not that I wouldn't take the Javonte side if he backed out and said, no Pierce. But I would definitely do that trade. Need help, Smitty. 0-3 Fields, Russell Wilson, Bijan, ETN, wide receiver Olave, Pickens, Flowers, tight end Goddard, bench Tank Dell, JSN, Christian Watson, Brees, Achane. Love the bench. Love that you have Christian Watson. Love that you have Brees. Love that you have Achane. I still believe in Roshan. I still believe in JSN. I love that you got Tank Dell. Pickens, Olave is phenomenal. Flowers, phenomenal. Bijan, ETN. I love this team. The only thing you need to work on, upgrading Fields. Go to the teams with 2 QBs. Figure out what you can give up. And honestly, if you can't figure out a way to give them, I'd even consider Achane if you had to. But I'd rather give up like a Pickens and throw Christian Watson in. I'd rather don't give up Olave. I'd rather give up Brees for a QB like Anthony Richardson before I go give up an Achane, actually. So I think that's all you need to do is use those bench pieces, not Achane, not Christian Watson, hopefully. And even lineup pieces like Flowers or Pickens, and I love Flowers, but for a quarterback upgrade, it might be worth it. For Goddard looked pretty good tonight, about 8, 9, 10 points or whatever fantasy-wise. So that might be a move. Tight ends are hard to come by in fantasy right now, so Goddard might be a way to get that. I have Laporta, forgot to mention that in the first Super Chat. Look, Laporta is fantastic. He's top 5 go forward. There's trade value there too if you need to tap into that, but I think given how good he's playing and how much upside he has, probably better off, not sending him away. But I certainly would entertain any trade. Smitty, what do you recommend for us Burrow owners? You have to hold it, Junkie. Appreciate your super chat, by the way. You have to hold Burrow. And if you're like me, I had Puka. And I traded Puka for AR5. And it's a 1 QB. And I did that because I felt like it was the only move for me to win now. And I don't want to get lost, from behind. And I'm already 1-2. So I needed to get some wins. And so AR5 was the right move for me. I took a gamble trading Puka away for that. But I felt like it was a good move. I still feel like it's a good move. I have Burrow. And I'm not counting on him, but at the same time, like I mentioned, I think he plays through it because I think he can. Even if he tore it again a little bit, he would be there and limp around. Like, it's not ideal, but I think he plays through it. I think he got better today. I think he gets better next week. I think he could get better each week. I think he throws some touchdown passes finally. But it was brutal to watch them march down there, kick a field goal. March down there, run a touchdown in. March down there, kick a field goal. Be very conservative on third down. It just sucked to see the game go that way. And if they start losing, he could be in jeopardy of really hurting you. So be careful with that. Who Dat Gator, appreciate you. Smitty, 0-2-1. And still love my Moon Man team. Don't want to do any moves. Love, Gibbs, AK. AK's coming to the rescue. Swift, Brees Hall. If you could start all 4 running backs, that's amazing once Brees moves up. If not, you have trade bait. Chase, Ridley, Zay, that's a great team. JSN, fantastic squad. That's unfair. You're 0-2-1. That's a wait, comeback team, revenge tour. I don't know that I make any moves either. All right, rock out. You're live. Hello?
Hello?
What's up?
Can I get a whiteboard treatment?
For you, pal. Go ahead. Then I'm gonna be out of here in a second. It's a 4-hour live stream.
All right,
go ahead.
All right, my team is Love, Burrow, Howe at quarterback, running back, Bijan, Kenneth Walker, Javonte, Roshan, McKinnon, wide receiver, St. Brown, Olave, McCorrin, Ayuk, and JSN, and then Ferguson at tight end.
Okay. It's great, bro. It's what do you do here? Do you have Charbonnet?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you wait on this team. I don't think you get much for anything. I mean, unless there's a QB needy team. And I can tell you right now, I have a team that is in need of a QB in one league, and I would go after Burrow. So Burrow is attractive to somebody that has nothing even close to Burrow. So you just got to target that team, and if there's no team that needs Burrow that badly, I would probably say you don't have much of a move here because you can't sell Bijan right now. You wouldn't get the value he commands. Walker, I don't know that I sell him because he's playing so damn good. Would I get JT or Kamara with the wide receiver? Yes, but it depends on the wide receiver. Would I take JSN and Gibbs for Walker? Yes. Not JSN, I'm sorry. Devontae Smith and like a Gibbs, yes. Not JSN. Panic, I didn't mean that. Panic, Peter. I'm starting to not hear what I'm even saying or being coherent because I've been live for 4 hours. But Devontae Smith and Gibbs for Walker, I would consider that. Achane and Achane and Ridley for Walker. Like maybe I'm considering something like that. But your team's very good. You've got two amazing wide receivers in St. Brown and Olave. Ayuk is super undervalued and underrated as your wide receiver 3. I think you're set, bro. I don't make any moves here.
Yeah. Yeah, my problem is like the top team has A.J. Brown, Chase, and Keenan Allen.
Yeah, but St. Brown, Olave, and Ayuk are no bums, bro. You're fine. Keep in mind what Ayuk looked like in week 1. You know?
Yeah, I hear you.
And Bijan still got something to say.
I can also get Purdy off waiver and then maybe ship Burrow.
Yeah. Say that again?
I could possibly get a Purdy off waivers and then possibly trade Burrow.
Purdy off waivers. Yeah, try that. I definitely try that.
So I would have Love and Purdy and then trade off Burrow.
For sure. For sure. I like it. All right, man. Appreciate you, rock out. I'm going to head out because I've been here for 4 hours, so I'm tired. I'll see you tomorrow, pal.
Yep.
All right, later. Final caller is Matt from Michigan. You literally have 20 seconds, or 29 seconds. Rock out took one of yours, and no whiteboard session, bro. Oh, he hung up. It was his time to shine. He didn't like that. He's like, you're not going to limit me. I'm hanging up on you. He just said, no way. No way. No way am I going to be told what to do, he said. Travis with a super chat. Appreciate you. Travis says, Smitty, can we please get Breon a quick whiteboard? Loyal listener in need of your input. Yeah. Put in the message, or let me look for the message. Thank you for the super chat. JR, Breon, put your question in the super chat, or I'm sorry, not the super chat, in the chat, and I'll pull it up and we'll do a whiteboard. Lines are closed though. I just have like 10 people calling in right now. Phone lines are closed. I can't pile in more calls. It'll just take forever. It's 4 hours. I'm tired. My brain is like mush right now. Trade 22 for, what's this say? JR says trade 22 for Love and have T. Who's 22? How am I supposed to know who in the hell 22 is? Trade 22 for Love. I have T-Lock, Cooper Kupp, Watson, Dell, and Kirk. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about 22? Can somebody help me out? What's he talking about? Let me look for Breon. Talking about Emmitt Smith. Breon, paste your message in real quick, please. 22? Tutu? Is that who we're calling Tutu Atwell? Najee? Are we calling 22 Tutu? Like 2? Or are we doing Najee? Like, what are we talking about here, JR? I can't read minds. Tutu, he says. Tutu. Trade Tutu. You guys are... You gotta be kidding me, man. What do I look like? A mind reader? Trade Tutu Atwell for Love. I absolutely do that no matter what. Just for the trade value alone. Even if I sit on it for 3 weeks. I trade Tutu for Love. Love. Thank you, JR, for the shorthand lesson. My man. All right, let me look for this Breon message here. I don't even know if I'm saying that name. Breon, I think that's right. I need to upgrade my team. What moves can I make? Where is this message here? I don't see the message. All I see is I need to upgrade my team. Please give me... All right, Breon, I can wait here about 1 more minute, and then I'm out of here. I need the message, the question in the chat, or I gotta go. Appreciate you all being here. I'm waiting. 22. 2. Do we trade 22? You know, 2. Until next time. Robert, my man Robert. Let's go. Robert's the man. Robert's the man. Hit that thumb up button on your way out the door. We still got 469 people in here. Okay, here's the question. I don't know if we need to whiteboard this. I can just say it out loud here. Can I make Burrow... What upgrades can I make? Burrow, Keenan Allen, Lockett, Warren, Najee, Pickens, Swift, Kelsey, Flowers. If this is my team, I'm trading Tutu. And the guy I consider Tutu. I'm trading Najee Harris away like he's, on fire. Burrow... You're gonna have to bank on Burrow, unfortunately. You've got Kelsey, you've got Swift. Those are two very good pieces. Flowers is crafty. I keep that, but Najee feels like dog water right now. I'm taking a swing on JT using Najee and Warren, or maybe even keep Warren. Just hopes that he gets the job and you have the best of both worlds. I would say Najee and Lockett for one player like JT and try and get something back. But I'd take JT or Kamara straight up for Najee and potentially Lockett, if I'm being honest. I'd take Kamara and really anything. Go to the Kamara and JT owners. Go to the Gibbs owner. Go to the Hall owner. See what they have. Gibbs and Hall will require a better wide receiver back for Lockett and Najee. Like someone like Christian Watson, very undervalued. Whereas JT, you could get by with getting a Tank Dell. You could get by with getting a potential, you already got him, but Pickens-like player. But honestly, Najee and Warren might be an attractive player for a 0-3 JT owner who's like, I can't wait another week on JT. What if he doesn't even come back? And I'm 0-3. I just got to get rid of him. And you give him Najee, and they're saying, maybe Najee does it. Maybe Najee comes back. This is your only move. Keenan Allen on the high. You could sell Keenan Allen on the high for like a Devontae Smith and Hall. Like, go to the Devontae Smith owner. Go to the Hall owner. See if there's that combination there that works. Those are all moves I think I would make, Breon. I'm sorry I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. But those feel like good avenues. But just make sure you don't like trade Keenan Allen for freaking 2 bad players and come back. Like, bring it to us, or make sure you use kind of an example like I've said. Kamara and Christian Watson for Keenan Allen would be a smash. Hey, Smitty, traded Higbee and Mike Williams the night before he was announced out for the season for Garrett Wilson. That's a smash. He was panicking, Jets fan, and I swooped in. Yeah, that's great. So basically Higbee for Garrett Wilson. Now, Garrett Wilson's got his own problems, but I think that's a risk worth taking. 3,500 messages you guys have dropped in the live chat tonight. 3533. 3533. You guys are insane. 3534. They just keep coming. That's a lot of messages in 4 hours. You guys are absolute monsters. I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, or live when news breaks. Probably live when news breaks before the 8 p.m., I imagine. Let's salute Kenny Walker on the way out the door tonight.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber Swinging Skywalker.
Thank you to my mod crew. Appreciate all my mods. Sick Nasty, Travis Rowe, Blackbeard, Terry Roberts, Vampy. I always leave Vampy out because he wasn't always a mod, and I just, for some reason, Vamp, please don't take offense to that. I don't know. I always think of Vamp as that, loyal dude that's one of the most loyal followers, and I always just picture him there, and I always forget that we gave him mod access on top of that. So Vampy to the moon. I'm sorry if I don't say your name more. I need to remember. Blackbeard, Sick Nasty, Vampy, Travis Rowe, Terry Roberts. Who else am I forgetting, mods? My mod squad. Let's go. Appreciate you all. Thank you for the super chats. You guys absolutely rock. I'll see you tomorrow. Probably when news breaks. Probably live when news breaks. I'm sure news will break. And then we will also go live at 8 p.m. I'll see you all later. Maybe a Panic Chamber 8 p.m. show tomorrow. Potentially kick it off with a Panic Chamber. See you all later. Appreciate you. 503 of you in here. Punch that thumb up button on your way out the door if you could. Deuces.
Get whammed. Get whammed.